to the Bomb Hole.
Bomb Hole Podcast.
It's going to be very hot. It's going to be very uncomfortable for everybody.
The Bomb Hole.
We're gonna slide down them big hills, you know what I mean, on the big, nice burgundy snowboard.
Okay, here we go again with another episode of The Bomb Hole, which is presented by Pub Beer. Now, first things first, always got to ask, Stony Buds, how we doing?
So good, my dog.
God, I love hearing that. Now, to my left, we got Sean Malto in the booth. Malto, how we doing?
Doing great. Yeah.
Well, we are happy to have you, Malto. Some of our audience are snowboarders, so I'll do a little brief intro for those of our audience that are unfamiliar with who you are. But Malto is basically a household name, pro skateboarder, generational talent. I'm gonna say generational talent. Won Street League, tons of incredible video parts, pro for Nike, Mountain Dew, Girl, Skateboards, Kansas City OG. We're going to get into all of that. But first things first, you've been snowboarding a bunch.
Yeah, so I've actually been snowboarding almost as long as I've been skating.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it doesn't really show out there on the slopes, but, you know, I've loved snowboarding for a very long time. I think I started skating when I was 10, and I started snowboarding when I was 12. So,
where does one learn how to snowboard in Kansas City?
Snow Creek, you know.
Shout out
Snow Creek.
How far is that from where you grew up?
20 minutes.
Oh, nice.
It was this little hill, super small, super icy, you know, just middle of nowhere in Kansas. But it was fun. My brother worked there, and it was great. Like,
I heard your brother's a bit of a problem on the snowboard.
Yeah, for sure. He was trying to fulfill the dream for a little bit. He was like really wanting to be a pro snowboarder, and like he got good. For, you know, us, you know, I know you guys.
Dude, I had
a
no
little
idea
different
there was a
talent.
resort around Kansas City. That's crazy.
Do you guys get snow ever in the city?
Yeah, we get
really?
snow. Yeah, it's not a ton, but we definitely get it. I remember one summer going out to California, driving out to California, I had to push my car out of snow to like drive to LA for some warmer weather. So we definitely get a little snow.
Solid. Now I gotta ask. You grew up high school. When did you start skating? That's what I want to know.
So I started skating when I was 10, and it was strictly because of I swam in this pool when I growing up. My dad's in the military, so I grew up on a military base. And I was swimming in this pool, and I looked over, and there was a skate park across the street. So my brothers and I just kind of made our way over there, and then my brothers got really into it, and you know, I'm the youngest, so with little brother syndrome, I kind of had to, one, do what they did, and then two, try to be better than them at whatever they did, just to be able to hang. You know, like, you know, the younger brother, you always kind of like got to bring around, but I always wanted to try to like earn my spot there. So whenever they learned a trick, I had to learn it and whatever. So that's kind of how it all started.
Was military dad not stoked that you guys were skating? Or
Yeah, no, he was not stoked.
Yeah,
he didn't
that's,
really
like,
get
fully
it.
opposite,
Yeah. He was like, you know, I think like most parents, like I'm sure it's the same in the snowboard world, just like, oh, it's a little phase, like that's cute, whatever. And then years down the road, they're like, are you seriously still doing this? You know? But my dad is like major military guy, like graduated from West Point. You know, he's like has his kind of like regiment, whatever. So we had to work around that a little bit. And skating street on a military base, if you get in trouble, it kind of always makes it back to your dad. So he was a little like annoyed by that.
I bet.
Did he put some good self-discipline and stuff like that growing up, like learning how to manage your time? And
Yeah, my dad is like, he's very good in that way. He's very like logistical. You know what I mean? My mom was like, have fun and do whatever, like be like whatever, be who you are. My dad was like, cool, but like here's, you know what I mean? So I feel like I kind of got the best of both of those worlds. But my dad was, you know, just like most parents, like, what are you going to do with your life? And like, is this really going to do it for you? You know, you're spending all this energy doing this one thing. Are you ever going to like figure out a way to do something that might benefit you, you know? And it was like that up until I started actually making money.
which was at what age?
So I started to get paid from skating when I was 15 or 16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, I was like $500 a month or something, you know, like.
At least that's something, though.
That's a lot of money when you're that young, though.
For
Yeah,
sure.
for that age.
I didn't need it, and like my parents were fine, and they always provided for me, which I was lucky in that way. So, basically, just went into a bank account that I didn't even like look at, you know.
That's
Did you drop out of high school?
Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out! Let's give you an air horn for that.
Ooh, Dad must not have been hyped on that.
Oh my God. I mean, both parents were not really stoked on that one. But my freshman year of high school, I showed up. I went to class for 2 weeks. And I was like, cool. And then at the time, DC was like, hey, you want to go on this trip? And I was like, you know, obviously had to talk to my parents about it because I'm super young. I'm like, hey, this company wants to fly me to Miami and go skate. Like, you know how crazy that is, right? And they were like, okay, all right. You can go, whatever. And I went. And by the time I came back, all my teachers had thought I moved away. They were like, what are you doing? They're like, we thought you moved. Like, we didn't even know you're in the class anymore. And then I was like trying to catch back up where everybody else was. And then right when I was about to catch up, another trip popped up. And I just told my mom, I was like, hey, this is like, I don't know what you want me to do here. Like, I can't do both. So she was like, all right, if you go to homeschool and do your things, you can keep going on these trips, whatever. And then I went to homeschool and I kind of did the work, but not really. And then at 16 or 17, I had a pretty clear path. I was like, fuck it. I'm going that way. You know?
Trips kept popping up, right? What do you
I'm not going to go skate with Ryan Gallant and Ryan Smith and like these other pro skaters I've looked up to. And, you know, they got it. Like my mom for sure was like, okay, like they got it, whatever. And my dad was like still kind of a little skeptical, you know, but it was like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like what, as a kid, I have this opportunity. I kind of got to try to take it.
And you're making money.
And I was making money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You switch flipped your way right out of high school.
yeah.
Did you only make it through 9th grade then?
No, actually, so I did the homeschool up until like through freshman year, through sophomore year. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to go and just try to like test out, just try to gain credits and like test out whatever. And I did my best I could. I think I like got, what is it in Kansas? I think you need like 28 credits to graduate, and I have like 21.
Oh, wow.
So I have another year left or so. Or
no
whatever.
GED then either, huh?
No.
Nice.
I thought about it. That was like a pandemic kind of goal. I was like, should I go get my GED? I'm like bored. You know what I mean? And then I looked into it for all of about 5 minutes and was over that. Yeah, I was like, maybe I'll just play video games for the next year.
Like, do you even need this GED? You know?
Now, I heard a story when you were younger, you used to skate. You had a bowl cut, a green helmet. You would wear all types of pads. And then I heard a story about some razor tail. Maybe you could walk us through that. Yeah,
so, I mean, just like skating, just like anything, you know, like you get hurt when you're a little kid, and like when you add skating or any action sports, you kind of like, it compounds that. And my brothers and I were always a little injury prone, I guess. We like to try to fucking do shit that we don't know how to do. So it just like added up. Like one, the bowl cut comes from my grandma. My grandma used to cut my hair.
Give her an air horn.
And yeah, shout out to my grandma, R.I.P. But it was like my grandma was like retired from cutting hair, and my mom's a hairstylist, and I think my mom was just like, you gotta let your grandma cut your hair just because it like would make her happy. And it was straight bowl cut. So and then, you know, the helmet was like, I was like, I don't want to wear a helmet, whatever. I hit my head and ended up throwing up. And like my mom was like, you got to wear a helmet. I'm like, okay. Tried to skate this sketchy flat bar. We used to make 2x4 flat bars, like just like whatever, nail 2x4s together and put 2 pieces of angle iron. And I hit my shin, gashed my shin open, and there you go. Now I have shin guards. And then I hit my teeth on the ground, and then now I have a mouth guard. So it's just like compounded, whatever. And then, one day I was skating this place called Pleasant Valley Skate Park, and I, was skating a board for, you just skate your boards until you really can't. And like I had this super bad razor tail, and I remember I was a small kid, so I was probably 12, and like really, really small, and tried to smith grind this bench, and my back foot slipped off, my nose jammed in the ground, and I credit carded myself straight on the razor tail. And I'm one of those guys that takes off running when I get hurt. Like I try to run it off, like trick myself that I'm not hurt. So I'm like running in circles, just like, oh my God. And then I go to the porta potty, and like, I like check, and I pull and like my hand's bloody, and I'm like, oh my God. I go to the hospital, and I split my taint open. Oh man. Which was the scariest thing in the world. I was tripping out, and I had to go and get stitches in my taint at 12 years old in the hospital.
It's a very vulnerable experience.
Yeah, it was like almost like one of those pregnancy like chairs in the hospital. Like my feet were out. Yeah. And like I remember like having to hold
some dude with a headlamp.
Having to hold. Yeah.
They're like, hey Jim, you gotta get in here. Let's take a look at this.
Come and see this taint.
Oh my God, the doctor was male, but there's two female nurses, and like I'm trying to like cover everything up, and I have to hold it, and they put this like piece of paper down, and like I got three
at
stitches
12. That's
in my
gotta be
taint.
rough.
Yeah, I was like,
female nurses getting a peek.
Yeah, the taint slice.
That was very, very embarrassing.
Could have been worse, though. You could have lost your nutsack. Or something.
It was probably a
maybe.
good place to land.
Yeah.
But it was traumatic experience.
I heard you gained a
PTSD.
nickname from that experience as well.
Yeah. The kids at school called me Waddles because I couldn't walk right. Like, you know what I mean? Like I had to like keep my legs apart, and waddle around.
That would
school.
never stuck, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Huh?
No,
That
thank
would have
God.
been a tough go.
We
Right?
could
Yeah.
actually try to make waddles stick.
Waddles.
Yeah, I went to a small middle school, so I think my class was like 8 people. So,
Oh wow.
Oh damn.
that just was those 7 others. That just stuck with
That's
them.
it.
Yeah, I was on the basketball team too. Couldn't play. My coach was all mad at me.
You're all benched.
Yeah, I got benched because I got stitches in my taint. Like, how embarrassing. Well, that's the life we chose, I guess.
Yeah, this is the life we chose. You know, it's so funny you say that. Like, I'll pull into a parking lot to look at a spot with my girlfriend, and like we'll just way detour 180, like just check out some rail or something. And I'll be like, "Sorry, baby, this is the life you chose."
Yeah. That's it, right? Like, can't turn it off now.
It's never gonna skate or snowboard on the spot, probably ever. But you're like, gotta get eyes on it.
Just kind of realize it's not possible to credit card on a snowboard, huh?
No, you can't get. Yeah, you can't get sacked on a snowboard.
1 foot moves.
Yeah, no, you can't get sacked. It's good.
Yeah.
You can. You can get absolutely destroyed.
There's a lot of
You
ways
can't
to
get
get
sacked.
work, though.
So, skiers can get sacked. They get sacked. But
Yeah.
have
Have you ever had a skier on the bomb hole?
we have?
We have.
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Really?
Three actually.
Wow.
3.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're down for the ones that are dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're all like, do whatever you love, but, there's some people
Yeah.
that don't.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, I want to kind of change gears back into some snowboard stuff or skate stuff rather, because I remember seeing you. The first time I saw you was the Yes We Canada tour, because we were skate nerds growing up. Me and my buddy Scotty Stevens, we would watch these things like crazy. And I just went back and watched that before we did this podcast, and it was so cool because it's like Jeremy Rogers, Costin, yourself, Mike Moe, Rick McCrank. And was that your first time ever going on a tour with the girl team?
Yeah, that was like my first trip with everybody. Yeah, it was really surreal, actually. Just like, hey, like, we're going to Canada, you should come. And I was like, fuck yeah, of course, you know what I mean? Had Costin posters on my wall. Like, Yeah Right was one of my favorite videos. And so getting to go out there and yeah, it was crazy just showing up. I remember Costin had brought this, it was like he wheeled this thing in that was like kind of big. And it was Mike Moe and I's first trip. So Mike Moe and I kind of like got together because we're like, well, we don't know what we're doing here. Like, this is so crazy. We don't know how to navigate this. And so we were like looking around, and like Costin showed up to the hotel like with his luggage, and he was wheeling this thing, and we were like, what is that? And we're like, dude, I bet he has like award ceremonies to go to. I bet like those are suits. Like, we were like trying to speculating, and it ended up just being golf clubs. But you know, we're like, that's how we thought of Costin, you know, still do to some degree. It's like, he is the man, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, has all this stuff. And then, so yeah, that trip was crazy, and we just skated like my first demo, like super like, whoa, people, like kids want to see us skate. Like, this is weird, whatever. And then to, you know, skate with those guys and the energy around that, and to have like, you know, it was like such a good time. And then for that video to come out and Mike Mo and I to have like our introduction to Girl was insane. It was like, it was a little crazy. It was like, you know, people around town were like, dude, that video was sick. And I was like, oh shit, like, these guys know about skating. Like, this is amazing. Like, whatever. But yeah, that was one of the craziest trips of my entire life, to just be that young and not understand anything, and just going on a trip with, you know, the best skateboarders in the world.
That's how you learn, huh?
Totally.
I have a Patreon question, since we're speaking of the girl team. This is from Thomas Portet. Which one of the old heads on the girl team is your favorite? Which one of the young heads as well?
At the moment, I mean, it's hard as an older head to not say Mike Carroll, because Mike Carroll, so legendary, amazing. Everybody, Rick Howard. Rick McCrank was actually my favorite skater growing up. I really loved that he could do it all. He could skate rails, ledges, transition. So I would say, you know, all those guys are good, but if I would say the older head, Rick McCrank is way up there for me. Newer guys, Simon Bannerow is so good at skating. It's insane. He like, one, the kid doesn't get tired. Like, he could just skate as long as he wants, which I'm so jealous of. But he just like, he loves skating so much, and like his board almost looks like a part of his body. Like, it's just the way he can navigate, and he's one of those guys that can do it all too. He'll skate a vert ramp, he'll skate a manual pad, he'll skate a ledge, he'll do anything. And so watching him skate and like seeing how his career is going, it's really impressive.
Solid. Now, just going back real briefly to the Yes We Canada tour, watching that, thinking about those names, Jeremy Rogers was on that trip, and he was like a conveyor belt of tricks. Like, it seemed like he was just owning demos. Like, he just destroyed I forgot how good Jeremy Rogers was.
Conveyor belt of tricks and a conveyor belt of talking shit. That guy, he was like the one dude, for whatever reason, that was like, you know, if you think of like in sports, like your rookie year or whatever, like he was the guy that was giving Mike Mo and I the most shit that whole time. It was like relentless.
Just hazing you guys.
Just he would not stop. And he was so good too that, like, you know, he's like I was like, God, I want to be better than him, and like I just wasn't.
Yeah, he's like, we just picked up these kids fresh off the lot. They can't even figure out how to get off the ledge.
Exactly. And it was like that for, like, in the videos you see it with skating, whatever, but it was like that at restaurants, waking up for breakfast, like everything. It was just, he was like hammering us. Which, looking back on it, was really funny, but at the time I was like, oh my God, like this dude hates me, like whatever. But yeah, Jay Casanova, man, he was definitely
still they often rip.
Very talented skateboarder. But yeah, you know, music's up for debate still.
No comment. So, but yeah, so Malto, have you ever hit a smelling salt before?
I don't believe so.
It's kind of early in the podcast. We like to hit these things, get you going.
What?
So basically, squeeze it. Me and Buds will share this one. You basically, so what you're gonna want to do is put it up to your nose, squeeze it, give it a little smell, and then I'm gonna hand it. But it'll just kind of pop it, give it a little smell, and then boom. Just you kind of ease into it. You kind of like
Don't go like
You smell it or snort it?
combination
Smell it.
hybrid.
in between. Yeah. If you go hard, you'll like really your eyes will
So I
water.
just squeeze
Squeeze it
right
and then
here.
put it up to your nose.
It'll turn
It
red.
dies pretty quick, so you got to get in there.
Whoa. Oh, shit.
Oh, that was strong.
Whoa.
Oh, that one burned my
Oh,
nostril.
that one I hit that too hard.
Oh, that one was strong. Why was that so potent?
Whoa!
Eyes are watering.
Well, he's sitting around to our in-studio audience today. Lauren and Sam just hit a couple. They're looking. Their eyes are watering.
I wonder if they get like stronger with time or
Yeah,
something.
it's like that scene in Wolf of Wall Street where the Quaaludes like get them really fucked up over time.
Yeah, is that legal? Is that like over the counter, or is
Those
that
are
from?
legal.
I don't think I know that they're not approved by the FDA.
Oh, okay, cool. So they're legal in Mexico, like behind the counter. All right.
Wow, that one made one eye water.
Yeah, yep. Just the left, my left one.
Yeah, just
It's
like
just
left.
the same nostril,
It
huh?
must be the
Yeah.
nostril.
Fully. Well, let's talk about the fact that you're the youngest brother.
Yeah, I'm the youngest. I still water. I'm the youngest of four. in the family. Yeah.
There's a thing I like to call younger brother syndrome because I'm the youngest too, and I think it's a real thing where you just like you said earlier, you want to be as good as your older siblings. So you're like, but they don't really want you around. So you're just like trying really hard to gain respect, but you never really get it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty common in most sports. I feel like the youngest is, they always
Is the best?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I was alluding to. Huh? Yep. There you go.
Amazing. Well, we just went and skated the cabin. For those of you guys who are unfamiliar, I got a cabin up in Huntsville with my buddy Alex, and Malto went and kind of put a beat down on the Manning pad.
Freedom Frontier. Yeah, Scotch pad. That place is magical. It's so fun out there. So good. It's 8,000 feet of elevation, so it's a little tough.
But did you notice that?
Yeah.
Coming from sea level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
coming from sea level, that's no joke.
No, it's definitely a little harder than I thought. And it's cool. It's like perfectly shitty. It's like, you're like skating around, you see some rebar popping out here and there. It's like one quarter pipe's like a little lumpy, everything. It's a little directional, like down. But it's great. That's like what it's supposed to be, You don't want a contest skate park in there. You want to just like cruise around, and you want to take some time to figure it out. But it was great. I really want to come back in the winter. I gotta
Hit
get
that tow rope.
my snowboard rail game better.
Well, that's
Yeah,
a
what are we
perfect
talking?
place.
What are you serving up on the rails? these days?
So
That's what we wanna
like as a skater, I am known for like skating flat bars. Like
Yep.
I love flat bars. I love how they work. But in snowboarding, I can't figure it out. Kind of because like skating, you have wheels, you know what I mean? So it kind of locks you in, and like there's a little bit of leverage to push off. So if I'm leaning one way, I could kind of pinch my wheel in and kind of bring it back. Snowboarding, once it's going offline, there's like, I'm fucked. There is no way. I don't know how to bring it back. So I gotta learn that.
What board do you ride?
Burton.
Do you know the?
It's like the custom, like whatever. It's the one. So they recommended this one that is it like reverse camber or something?
Probably.
It's
I don't
like
know. The
one.
custom can be like it's kind of mid flex.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They said it was like almost like skating, like it was like more poppy, like I could kind of like whatever. So I was like, oh, maybe I'd give this a go. So I have, I think it's 152 or 4, something like that.
Well, the good thing is you can't get razor tail and re-slice open your taint.
No, you can't. Definitely. But going to higher speeds always scares me on a snowboard. I'm not used to going that fast. It's kind of why I love it so much. It's like bombing a big hill, like power sliding. But as soon as I get in the park, I'm a little scared. And everyone's like, "You're a pro skater, dude. Like, do something." I'm like,
Yeah, you should rip, man.
yeah, I'm like, no. Like, I don't know how.
Do you feel like when you were younger, your career was so consumed with skating that you didn't have time to have recreational activities? Now that you're a little older, you get to do fun stuff like snowboarding and golf.
So there's one thing in my childhood that I think really was detrimental to my snowboard career. And I was trying to learn how to jump as you do in snowboarding, whatever. So like I was progressing, and like I got to the big jump at Snow Creek, that was like, I did the big jump. I was so psyched. I think it wasn't like that big. It was probably like 30, 35 feet, whatever. And I remember I made it. Second try, I went off a little like back seat, and I landed on my tail and kind of slid out. And I was like, okay, I need to like kind of ollie and dip down, right? So I went off, and I dipped it, and I just kept going.
Oh, no.
And I was like,
The slow tip.
oh my God. The front of my board dug into the landing, and I cartwheeled. And I slammed, and I was like, whoa, that was kind of gnarly, whatever. And I went to unstrap my binding, and I was like, looked at my wrist and was like,
Snapped.
broke my wrist. And I like went in. It wasn't snapped, but it was definitely like bubbled up. You know what I mean? And so I went in and like had to get my wrist, like whatever. They had to like push it back into place and get the cast, whatever. And then I couldn't skate, and I was like super bummed. And then that was like the one thing I was like, damn, if I get hurt here, I can't skate. And I love skating so much. It sucks. So that kind of like, I feel like if I didn't do that, either I would have gotten hurt worse the next year, or, you know, maybe I would have been spinning by now or doing something.
Well, and once you were pro, too, you can't go get hurt snowboarding. Your sponsors be pissed.
No, yeah. Zumiez 100K is good for that. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
the
I feel
pro
like all the
skaters get
worse.
mangled.
Yeah. It's like,
they
let's
love
bring
it, right?
all the pro skaters to a party and then send them down a big
Send
hill
them
and see
down.
what happens.
I've seen Chris Cole just serving up back threes, though. He's a bit of a threat out there on the snowboard.
Yeah, so Chris Cole, Mikey, and I have gone on like snowboard trips together. Like,
Sick.
So we love it. We try to do like, you know, what we can, but we're definitely not jumping off park jumps. You know, we like the little side hits.
Here's one thing you got to realize. You made the right choice, because you just went and talked about how your first trip you went to Miami. Beautiful, warm, great place. As a snowboarder, Buds and I, we only go to places that are fucking completely frigid.
Frozen
Just like,
cities.
I've only been to cold places. I've never been to Hawaii.
Yeah.
We don't go anywhere warm.
Yeah.
It's like, is it like in the Arctic Circle? Cool. We've
let's
probably
go.
been there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been to like every cold city possible around the world.
I mean, look, we get to go to some cool places, sure, but like we also end up in fucking ditches in Phoenix all the time. So it's like,
That's a good point.
you know what I mean? Like half of our trips, I feel like maybe if snowboarders look at skate trips and they're like, those look sick, we look at surf trips and we're like, why
Yeah.
can't we go there? You know
Those
what I
guys
mean?
are loving it.
They're in Fiji on the beach just hanging out.
They're all sunburnt and over it too, though. They're like, why can't we go somewhere
Yeah,
better?
and then they're probably like, we want to go on the snow trips, whatever.
Yeah,
It's
they
a
got
whole
sand
circle.
and all this stuff, and
I think maybe professional skaters, surfers, and snowboarders, we should be able to trade trips like maybe
swap.
once or twice a year. You know what I
That'd
mean?
be awesome.
Maybe
I gotta-
we make that happen.
I got a Patreon question since we're talking about snowboarding and skateboarding. This is from Maddie Coldren. Would you rather front board a down flat down on a snowboard or back lip a down flat down on a skateboard?
Back lip, 100%. I think the edges going on a front board on a snowboard, it scares the shit out of me. And I don't know how that's the thing. I don't know how it works. So I don't know, like, do I get the edge up? Do I just be light on it? You know, back lipping on a skateboard. I honestly prefer back lips over front boards skating, just because like it makes me like front board. Sometimes I'll get a little lazy and just kind of lob it up there, but back lips make me like actually ollie and like dip around.
When a back lip goes bad, it goes really bad, though, I feel like,
Yeah,
compared to a front board.
true. But like you just make sure you don't lock your truck up and then you're all right. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't want to backlip it down, flat down anyways, but I would rather know what's going to happen at the kink on a skateboard than on a snowboard.
I got a question for you. Talking about rails, back lips, front boards. I watch Street League. Go to X Games, and I look at you guys skate these street courses, and like everybody's got a piece of wax in their pocket, and they go over the rail, wax it. They go to the ledge, wax it. They go to and like it seems like you just are gonna, and then like that happens at my local skate park. I jump on boardy and just about slip out to my fucking back and get paralyzed. I don't understand how you guys can put so much wax on the rails and not just banana peel out.
It's, it is one of those things which is kind of funny. Like, my friends at home make fun of me because I wax everything just because I just got so used to it over the years of skating these, like, street league parks. And I think it's just, like, as far as contest goes, you want to give yourself the best possible consistent chance. And that is making the ledge as slick as possible for that time, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want really a lot of resistance. And, like, yeah, do I like ledges when they, like, are kind of grab a little bit, like, you can feel them? Of course. But, like, when you're going around a contest, you just want the same consistent thing, and that's just waxing the living shit out of everything and leaning as forward as possible on it. So I would say it's, like, a big contest thing that just, like, you just get used to, but it kind of, I guess, spilled over to the normal skate parks.
No, totally. It's interesting. That's a good explanation. We happen to have a guest question from none other than Scott Stevens, who's a legendary snowboarder, friend of the show. And him and I grew up watching, we were big fans of Girl Chocolate. So I threw a guest question here from Scotty Stevens. Here we go.
This is Scott here. I got a question for Sean. Sean, I'm a huge fan. Been watching Girl and Chocolate videos since Mouse. Remember when you got on in the mid-2000s, and my question is, I love those tour videos Crail Tap, 4-Star, Girl, Chocolate used to do. What's your favorite one that you've been on?
Wow, favorite trip. That's a hard one.
That's a big question.
Yeah, we all go on lots of trips. Let me think. Yes We Canada was cool, but I was so nervous the whole damn time. I would, you know what? I would have to say one of those 4-star trips. Maybe like obtuse moments. We did like a bus trip through Europe with the whole 4-star team, and that was one of the sickest trips. One, because 4-star had, we had Costin, we had Brian Anderson, Tony Trujillo, Frank Gerwer, Ashad Ware, Andrew Brophy, Lucas Puig. We had like all these people that were like, I didn't get to travel with that often. And we rented this bus to take us through Europe that had like beds in the bus. And that was sick because we were like, we were traveling through Europe, like long drives, whatever, but we all got to hang out together. Because sometimes, you were in a Econoline 12-passenger van just stacked in there, and like everyone's just uncomfortable, and like you can't, you know what I mean? You play like dice games and shoe boxes, but you're not like we were like playing cards and hanging out and whatever. So I would say that one probably is like one of the best trips I've ever been on.
So going back to Girl Chocolate, like I know you were talking about 4-star, but I was just thinking about that as you were talking with, Carol and Howard. How is it having like Mike Carroll and Rick Howard as like a quote unquote boss? Yeah.
Also, too, if you ever have Mike Carroll on the show, you should ask him about obtuse moments. There's a long party story about that name. We'll talk about it off this, but he could give you a pretty cool one. But Rick and Mike, so they're like, for me, they were so influential for my career growing up. Not as like pro skaters, I looked up to them for sure, but they like took care of me. They like housed me. They like, Rick Howard took me to go get my wisdom teeth taken out, like shit like that. Like they're, always like paying, like giving me money here and there to like help me out when I was younger. And, I can truly, truly say I would not be anywhere I am today without those two guys. So, yeah, big one to those guys. They're incredible and still are. I still lean on them for a lot of advice through the years. And, love those guys.
Solid. Well, we happen to have another guest question from none other than friend of the show, Ryan Runke. Here we go.
What's up, Bombhole? What's up, Malto? Runke here. Malto, got a couple KC Chiefs questions for you. First one is, what is the best Chiefs game you've ever seen in person in Arrowhead or anywhere? And the second part to my question is, how are you maybe one of the only people in the world that has a Chiefs Super Bowl ring, even though you're not part of the Chiefs organization? Stoked to hear from you. Talk soon.
Runky wants that ring from me, huh?
Yeah, he does.
Honestly, if I was a better friend, I would have bought him one, but, So, first to answer Runky's question, the best Chiefs game I've ever seen live was in Miami for the Super Bowl. Oof. So I watched them win the Super Bowl over the 49ers live, which was, brought me to tears.
Second one ever, right? First one in 50 years, something like that?
First one in, super, super long time.
That's heavy.
One, skating's so big in SF, so there's a lot of banter. So I felt like it was a lot of SF 49er people coming at me because, I'm really the only, Chiefs fan in the skateboarding industry, I feel like, besides, I guess Runky's not really. Runky's fucking whatever. Runky's the man. So people were yelling at me. There was all this banter between my friends, whatever, and got to go to the game and went to the game. It was amazing. We won, and it was so surreal because I had season tickets to the Chiefs when it was $400 for the season.
Damn.
We were that bad. We were terrible. We won 2 games that year, and I went to every home game, and it just was, you just grow up. You don't pick and choose your teams, really, It's I just love the Chiefs ever since I was a young kid, and, I endured a lot of pain to get to that Super Bowl. As far as the ring goes, so my friend works in the locker room for the Chiefs, and so the Chiefs, how they do it is there's the players' rings, which are the players' rings, whatever, and then there's the employee rings, and they get their rings, but they also have a promo code that they can send to their friends and family to purchase those rings. And so, I'm this is the first time in so long, in 50 years, that the Chiefs have won. I got to buy this ring. So I bought a ring and has my name on it and the whole thing. It wasn't very cheap, but
What are we talking
I just had to get it, I had to get it. It was one of those things where I was honestly, so they went back to the Super Bowl the next year. I was a little nervous. I was damn, if they win again, I got to buy another ring. I was whoa. But yeah, so that's kind of how it went. So next time the Chiefs win, hopefully sooner than later, I will have a link for Runky to purchase one of these rings.
Use promo code SeanMalto15 at checkout for your Super Bowl ring. 15% off.
Promo code The Bomb Hole for 0% discount on a Chiefs Super Bowl ring.
Well, it's funny that we're talking about the Super Bowl too, because the following year the Chiefs went back to the Super Bowl and they lost to the Buccaneers, which Tom Brady over here was the quarterback. Now
that's your guy, huh?
Yeah, that's his guy.
That's my guy. No, so how did that make you feel?
Probably how it made you feel when he left to the Buccaneers.
Wow, well played, well played.
Yeah.
Played.
So that must have been a tough loss. Though.
Yeah, well,
you guys were riding high though. You're we're going back to back Super Bowls. It was cocky. It was you guys are the new Patriots for a minute there.
I thought it was a lock. I thought it was definitely. I thought we had it. You know what I mean? And then your boy just he had other plans for us.
Now I have a question. Would you rather have to kickflip back nose blunt to fakie El Toro, or return a punt in an NFL game against the Kansas Chiefs and fully commit to the run
Versus the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yep.
If it's versus the Kansas City Chiefs, I'd probably, as of last year, I'd probably take the punt return. Their defense. I feel like I might be able to get to the end zone.
That'd be so sick.
I would love to see you just get run over by a 350-pound nose guard, just full speed.
So I actually, I've got to throw. There's a thing in the NFL which they don't really advertise that much because like first pitch in baseball is a big thing, right? So there actually is a first pass before NFL games that
wow
no one really knows. So But I got to do that one time with this guy, Kevin Lockett. He used to play for the Chiefs. His son's actually a really good football player right now as well, maybe for the Seahawks. But so I got to like throw the ball back and forth to him for like 10 minutes before the game on field, and then watch the game on field. And when you're standing next to a football player fully padded up on like full go time, it is scary. Those guys are like
big
superheroes. They're huge.
Yeah.
One, they're big people, and then two, the pads make them look like giants. And I was really actually terrified. Like even on the sidelines, I took a few steps back, like if someone came crashing towards me. But so yeah, no disrespect to the Kansas City Chiefs defense, but you know, kickflip back to El Toro has some pretty big consequences as well.
True.
Yeah.
Respect. Well, let's go back to your career and the arc of that. Now, we kind of left off with where you were talking about your Yes We Canada tour. I know you went on a bunch of other chocolate tours and girl tours and things like that. What was your first major video part?
I would say, you know, like we did some local videos around Kansas City that gained some pretty big recognition through Being Nice, 14 Deep, through the skate shop, Escape is Skateboarding in Kansas City. But my first real big video part was Trans World and Now. And actually, Lauren was there. She worked for Trans World at the time. But we, it was like a video that basically they grabbed like 6 AM skaters that they thought were about to turn pro, and they basically were like, let's do a video and like really try to showcase and turn these guys pro, which was a really cool idea. Yeah, so did And Now with Chris Ray and John Hollins, and then it was me, David Gravette, Matt Miller, Kenny Hoyle, Nick Trapasso.
And you got Ender?
I got the Ender, yeah.
You know who had a really good part in that? I really liked Kenny Hoyle's part.
Yeah, Kenny Hoyle was incredible. But they kind of split it up into 3, right? So it was like Trapasso, Gravette, Hoyle were with John Holland, and then Gravette, Matt Miller, myself were with Chris Ray, and like that's kind of how they did it. And then we'd take trips together, right? So I skated with Chris Ray a ton, and yeah, like we filmed for a year and had a video part, and lucky enough to have the last part in the video. Turned pro shortly after that. But the video was really fun to kind of skate with people that were in similar positions as me. And I was a little jealous at the time of Fully Flared. They were filming the Lakai video, and like I skated for Girl. So all of them were like working on this video, but I felt like a little excluded. I was like, damn, like they're filming for a video. I want to film for a video. And then And Now came up, and I was like, cool. Now I have like my way of kind of like filming and the route I want to go. And it was sick. Went to Australia. We did a bunch of cool trips for it.
I heard there's a really funny story with David Gravette that happened there.
Oh yeah, Gravette. Yeah, he he thought it was cursed.
He actually thought you had a curse on you?
Well, he thought that I had a curse on him more so, yeah. So the first time I ever skated with Gravette, he tried to lip slide this hubba, and it was really, really sketchy. And it was basically this hubba, but there's this like cross kind of bar that you kind of had to avoid, and he tried to lip slide it, and he got into a Smith grind and flew and landed, like his legs hit the crossbar, and he flipped over. It was like crazy slam. But it's Gravette, like the dude probably has taken similar slams like that in the past, whatever. Crazy slam, got up, whatever, and it was the first session I've ever been on with him, and from then on I was cursed. I was a curse, yes, to him. So
couldn't skate with you.
Couldn't skate with me, and so that was like that was hard. You know what I mean?
That's wild.
It's no one ever told me. Everybody knew, but I didn't. So
Really?
like there was like all these times where I'm like, oh, Gravette just doesn't want to skate this spot, whatever. And then we'd leave, and then he'd go back and film this trick that he wanted to do.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He got it in his head that
Yeah.
the reason he couldn't do stuff.
Exactly. We laugh about it now. I wonder, but I still haven't really seen him skate since. So I don't know if it's still going.
Ducks into the woods.
Yeah.
He's like, oh fuck.
I mean,
Malto's
Malto's here, I'm out.
definitely like hung out with him and like we've talked and like I love that dude. He's always been super cool and like whatever. Even though he thinks I'm cursed, but yeah, still
You know
to
how
this,
those
still
little line things are for different
Totally.
pros, I mean,
still.
I've never heard of one on a person though. That's funny.
No, yeah.
One of the things too I wanted to talk about with And Now, there's one trick in particular that I always thought was really heavy. You hard flip that gigantic set at the end. Was that a battle? Second to last trick.
Second to last trick, hard flip. Oh, so kind of. So that was a 15 in Arizona, and I remember I was having like such a bad day skating that day. There's actually like a 9 stair right, like to the right of it, and I was trying to hard flip and I couldn't do it. And Mike Mo was switch flipping it a bunch, and I was like, okay, like Mike Mo's about to switch flip this set, whatever. And Mike Mo was like, I'm not feeling it, whatever. And then I was like, all right, I'm here. I just want to try it. And so I was like, okay, here we go. I'm going to try to do this. I think it was like between 5 to 10 tries. I landed it, but like when I landed, I kind of swerved into the dirt, whatever. And I was like, I didn't care. I was like, I landed that shit. Cool. Like, yeah. And then Ty was like, all right, yeah, one more. And I was like, really? Fuck, all right, I guess, like, whatever. And so I ended up trying it for another hour after that.
Oh, no.
Just sticking and packing, and I never made another one. And then they used that one. And then I realized why after. It's because so that Ty filmed it. Aaron Meza was supposed to be on the other angle, but he went off to go film this other trick of Anthony Papalardo at the time. So Ernie Torres ended up filming that hard flip, which Ernie Torres is another pro skater. He lived in Arizona at the time. I grew up with Ernie. He used to live in Kansas City. He's a great dude, but he filmed it like complete shit.
So that's why they wanted to
Yeah,
do
he
it
filmed it like shit. Long lens angles, like all zoomed out, and like you can kind of tell if you go back and look at it. You're like, that's not filmed very good. But yeah. So I did land it. It would have been easy if Meza was not off with Papalardo, but I get it. Papalardo's the man. You can't really,
Can't disagree with that.
No.
So right after basically you filmed that And Now part, you went pro. How was turning pro?
It was great. Whatever. It's the same thing. Dream come true. Whatever. Honestly, it was pretty surreal. It was fucking crazy. And I've talked about this before, but it was supposed to be a big surprise. They were supposed to bring me to a dinner, and Alex Olson, Mike Mo, myself were all going pro at the same time, but Mike Mo and Alex Olson knew beforehand because of Fully Flared and whatever, and like that was the plan. But since I went on this other route of Transworld, I didn't know. And they're like, maybe we'll just make it a surprise for Sean, whatever. And then Mike Mo and I were in a bar in Australia, and he was like, hey, dude, like, I can't take it anymore. Like, you're going to go pro this trip. And I was like, what? Like, what? You know what I mean? It's like, I'm 18, Mike Mo's 17. I'm like, my 17-year-old friend's turning me pro? Like, what? And he was like, no, dude, this has been the plan all along. Like, you're going to go pro. Like, this is, like, it's real. Like, it's going to happen this trip, but just act surprised. And, yeah, I was like, all right. Like, I didn't know what to say at the time. I honestly didn't even really believe him that much. You know what I mean? And, but Mike Mo was and still is one of my best friends. So, to share that moment with him in a bar in Australia was so funny and amazing. And it was just like us two, and like basically we kind of had our little moment together, like, damn, we're professional skaters. Remember we went to Canada, and yes, we Canada, and like now we're here. Like which was really rad. But I'm such a bad actor, so when they actually told me a hibachi restaurant somewhere in Australia, I was like, cool. Like, you know what I mean? I was trying my hardest, but yeah.
That's funny. He had to tell you
Yeah,
to wait like 2
can't
more
take it
days.
He
or
had
something.
to. As like a true like best friend, though. You know what I
He's
mean?
been
It's
just
kind of
dying
hard to
tell
keep
you all
it.
trip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can respect that. Now, shortly around that time, sometime around that time, you fucking won Street League right when it kind of started, right?
Yeah,
2011
I won the first year.
was the first one. Okay,
Not the first one, the first year.
first year, got it.
It was I think it was the second one ever. Yeah, so Niger won the first one, I won the second one, Shane won the third one. But which Street League was such a weird concept when it was like brought up to us, you know. One, I'm a fan of sports, so like Rob Dyrdek was like, hey, we're gonna do this thing. It's gonna be in arenas, we're gonna treat you like NBA players. And I was like, great. Like
Sick.
Where do I
okay,
sign up?
yeah. How much money is okay?
Yeah,
Cool.
put me
Like
in.
whatever. Yeah. And so we got like whatever, and then he actually pulled it off. So he did these arena contests, all this prize money, whatever. But it was like right like a few days after my 21st birthday. It was Ontario, California, second stop, and I remember walking into the arena and somebody, like there was like this dude out front. And he was like, hey, have you ever heard of power bands? And I was like, no. And he was like, dude, these things like change your life, like whatever, like it'll rebound to you. And I was like, I just grabbed one on the way in, just like anything I could do to help, whatever. Threw a power band on. And it's funny, I remember that versus anything else. And then I like rolled in and ended up winning that contest like a few days after my 21st birthday. And it was crazy, you know, so much money too back then. It was
What are we
like,
talking?
Yeah, what are
That
we
was
talking?
150 grand for first place,
It's a lot of money.
which was crazy. I was like, what? Like I got a 150 grand check. Like this is wild. I don't even know what to do.
Yeah,
with
that's
that.
a heavy check.
And then my whole family was there. It was like a cool moment to like whatever have with my family, my brothers and everybody. And and then that night there was like a party in Hollywood, and I won this like basically back then Zumiez did this thing where they gave you $5 grand cash. Like all the skaters voted to give $5 grand cash to somebody, and I'd won that. So I got $5 grand cash in a bar, just newly 21 in Hollywood. And I remember I was like throwing up in the bathroom, and like Mikey Taylor came and grabbed like $5 grand cash out of my hand. He's like, yeah, let me take this and like hold it safe. I never counted it out. Maybe it's like $4 grand now, but yeah, it was a crazy moment to win a contest on that level, you know? Like wasn't really much of a contest dude. And to be able to kind of like, you know, they basically made a format that was like really good for me and like good for street skaters, and yeah, got to actually win one.
That's
Dude,
incredible.
150. That's so. That's
Now,
The next year I ended up winning the Super Crown too, which was a trip because so the first year was kind of like the trial run. They did 3. The next year they're like, okay, we're going to do 3, and then the top 10 get to go to like this Super Crown, the last one. And I was in 11th at the end.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, I missed it by 1. Tommy Sandoval rolled his ankle a week before the contest. And so they're like, hey, your next one up, you're in. And then I went, and I was in Newark, New Jersey during that crazy hurricane. And I ended up winning the Super Crown. I ended up winning that contest that year, which was kind of crazy because Nigel won all 3 events before that.
But the Super Crown.
And then the Super Crown, I won the Super Crown. And that year, the Super Crown was 250 grand.
Wow.
that's some biscuits.
They just had a lot of money back
Did
then.
sponsors
Now
match
it's
that too?
it's been diminishing. as well.
Yeah, so there was matching
matching.
up to a certain point.
Yeah, I was gonna
but
say,
it
that's a
was
big
like,
match.
yeah, I mean, you know, it was it was like straight up down payment on a house for me.
Yeah.
Like, it was great.
That's
Unreal.
Good biscuits.
You know
right
what I
there.
love
Cheddar
about that?
biscuits.
That's really cool. We were talking about Chiefs and Tom Brady and sports and whatever. And the thing that's great about sports, I think, is that like at the end of the game, you're on your feet yelling, somebody's going to make a game-winning touchdown. It's exciting, and with Street League and the right contests, they don't always unfold like this, but I just love when you can be on the edge of your seat and somebody lands like, this year in Salt Lake, Raisa went on a kickflip backlip and the place erupted. It was like the stands were going to freaking fall over because people were going so crazy. How is it being in that position when you're like, okay, last drop?
Yeah,
make it.
It's very trippy and it's very crazy, kind of, because like one, I never thought that skating would get to a point like that. You know what I mean? But honestly, in the situation, it's like usually I'm just grateful to be there. I'm like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I guess who cares? You know what I mean? It's like it's kind of out of my hands at that point. You just try it, but just to have the opportunity to like have that is the sickest part. If you win, you win. That's great. Cool. Like the payday, amazing. But it's more or less just to kind of like be around your friends and be in that position together is like, that's kind of the sickest part.
The energy from the crowd must give you some extra juice though, huh?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely like, it's a little heart pumping action, but, it's kind of hard to like hear anything from me. Like people ask me like in contest runs all the time, like what music you want to listen to, whatever. And I'm like,
You're just
I just pick a song I like that I don't even hear it. Like I never hear anything around me when I'm like kind of in that zone. But, yeah, it's just kind of one of those things. It's like pressure is a privilege and I get that. And like, I'm happy that I get to be in those positions, but at the end of the day, it's just skateboarding. It's like, we're all friends. We're all chilling.
Is everybody friends? So that's what I want to know. Cause it seems like some people are really competitive and it seems like some people are there to be like, I'm here to win this money. I'm not here to make friends. And then there's other people you skate with on the regular that are homies. Is that what it's like?
Well, most of us are friends. Most of us are friends really just trying to like navigate through it because it's a little stressful. And, no one's going into that thing just like everyone's a little on edge, but there are, it's like, it's weird. There are people that want that for their career. Like, this is what I want for my career. I want to win contests and make it to the Olympics and whatever, you know what I mean? Which is great. Do that. That's cool. And then there's people that are like, we want to film video parts. We want to have editorial. We want to have photos in Thrasher. We want to like, ground roots skateboarding. And then the contests are like, cool, this is an extension of that. We want to try our best in this contest world, but we want to take care of both sides. You know what I mean? Which is like where you want to be. You know what I mean? Like, this is like, we all grew up watching video parts and looking at magazines and, you know what I mean? Like, I had my favorite photos that I've seen in magazines and I have my favorite video parts and videos I watched every day. And that's what got me excited to skate. And like, that's kind of like where I want my career to be. But also, like, you understand, like, contests can be sick in that way too, of like really trying to like, do your best and put on a good show and get people into skating. And I think both avenues are great. Just some people focus on really hard on that one thing and it gets a little weird.
Well, then it gets so much more stressful, I imagine.
Yeah. It gets
that's all you do and you don't do well and you only skate 5 contests a year, you're going to, there's a lot more weight if you don't film a part.
Exactly.
If you guys go back, you're like, I'm going to go.
Yeah, if you have a good part, you're like, I got a good part. So it doesn't matter how I did.
I remember being on filming trips and leaving for that weekend to skate a contest and going back to the filming trip. You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of how it was.
Yeah.
And for me, if I'm in the streets skating well, I will fucking be great at any skate park. Like, that's not an issue. As long as I'm doing good in the streets, like, then the skate park will easily come. So that's kind of how I thought of it growing up. obviously the Olympics has changed some things and created different paths, which is great. Do whatever you want. That's great. I just, when you got to focus on both parts.
Yeah, you got to remember to keep it fun too, and I think you can lose that if you're only going the contest grind.
Exactly. Like if you're like super bummed out because you got fourth, and you're like, you're just focusing on the next contest. You're like, come on, dude. Like,
well, you also said something off air. I think yesterday we were talking about Street League, and you said like you get 4 tricks, and you just dial in those 4 tricks, and then you figure out a run. But I feel like, do you think with the new generation of contest skaters, they're taking it really seriously and like, I'm gonna practice cab 2 backflip, I'm gonna do 40 in a row, or I'm gonna like where they suck the fun out of it to get that consistency? Does that happen in skating?
I'm sure it does. It's hard. So I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, there was a part of Street League where I would go to the skate park. Like, this is probably in like my mid-20s. I'd go to the park and like I was focusing on these like few tricks. I basically had a skate park routine. I'd go to the park and I had like an hour and a half of like these tricks that I just did. Right. And like I did that for 2 weeks leading up to this contest, and I had the worst contest performance of my life. And I was like, that was such an unnecessary thing. I wasn't even enjoying it. I was like, okay, it's like, do a back tail, do a switch back tail, do a back tail, do a switch back tail, like whatever. I was just running through these tricks, and I was just like, it was basically just autopilot. And then, loosened up a little bit, like, all right, let's just skate, have fun, whatever, show up to the contest, see what happens. Like, for me, that's the better route to go. I'm glad I figured that out in like 2 weeks, other than like 10 years, But I feel like, some of these guys are stuck in it. I can't really name the names of the people, but I feel like it's like, they have their tricks, they just hammer them in, and then they go to these things, and then like, it's like, what are you even doing? You know what I mean? Like, you should go out, have fun, skate with your friends, learn tricks, try to film tricks, try to shoot some photos, and then go to the contest, and it'll all translate eventually, you know what I mean? But, teach their own.
Amazing.
I'm not going to tell anybody how or how not to skate.
Yeah,
I'm just
true.
telling them my personal views.
Well, is the money still the same at those contests?
No.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's unheard of money.
Yeah. I guess I was lucky to be good at contests when I was.
When it counted. That's important.
Sweet spot.
Well, going back to earlier talking about the Olympics too, one thing I wanted to bring up is in snowboarding, I noticed that when snowboarding was introduced to the Olympics, it used to be a little bit more counterculture, where like it was more of an outlier sport. It wasn't as common ground. It wasn't as common place for people. It wasn't treated the way it is now. It wasn't as widely accepted, I would say. And it's interesting because when snowboarding went to the Olympics, all of a sudden I think that the way it works is like parents are like, wait, it's actually okay for my kid to snowboard because they can win an Olympic medal. I can accept it. I can take my baseball dad mentality and like beat it into my kid, basically, or whatever, which is what you kind of see. And now I feel like I'm watching that happen in skating right now with the Olympics. Do you feel like that's happening?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, one good thing about the Olympics is it does get eyes on skating.
Yeah.
I think like skating is, it's gaining popularity, and that's cool. You know what I mean? This is like something that has completely changed my life for the better. And the more people that can have that opportunity, great. But, it's also like this is another path of skating where, if you don't know skating, if all you know is like Olympics, you're going to have a bad time doing it. You know what I mean? So I do feel like it's created a little bit of a weird path for people, path to the Olympics, I guess, whatever. Be an Olympic skater. It's great, sure. But you're not really gaining the whole essence of like skateboarding. And yeah, so the Olympics has caused a counterculture within skating for sure. I don't think it like My personal take, I don't think it really needs to be that deep. You don't have to be like either I love the Olympics or I hate the Olympics. I think you can just accept the Olympics for what they are and then skate however you want to skate. If you want to go that path, cool, great, do it. If you want to just be an Olympic skater, like, sure. And you're probably not going to like be that cool in skating ever. You know what I mean? You're not going to like be able to like go on trips in the van and skate street spots and like actually like have, a lot of skating is going on trips. It is meeting people. It's seeing new places. That is like, that skating has brought that to me, which is something that it's like changed my life. You know what I mean? And I don't think like going to the Olympics is going to have that same sort of toll. Unless you win it, sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it's just so few and far between who wins.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great point you brought up, I think, too, is when you think about, take, for example, you have the Olympics, and then, maybe the counter of that, maybe take like bronze 56K or the Polar Video or Anti-Hero or something like that. It's kind of like far on the other spectrum. They actually both complement each other. Like the Olympics being so mainstream actually makes the counterculture cooler. Like you need them to complement each other in skating. I think that's a great point where each one makes the other one. Oh, you're not into contest skating? We'll do this, and they all make it work as a great ecosystem.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? And there's few people that do it well, both sides. And those are people that are like Yuto, for example.
Yeah.
Won the Olympics. Rides for Supreme. You know what I mean? April, Nike, like films video parts. Like he has done it well. Nyjah does it well. Like some people just focus too hard on, that side. If you want, my personal opinion, if you really want to focus, if you want to pick one, you might as well go like the Thrasher film a video part like route more than the Olympic route. Mm-hmm. There's more longevity there. But yeah, they do complement each other. And it's just one of those things, you know what I mean? I guess if you are gonna skate a contest, you might as well go to the Olympics. Like why not?
Why not?
It's the greatest, competitive platform that there is in the world. But I was in some of those Olympic qualifying events, and they are stressful. It's testing, like it's like the whole thing. You know what I mean? It's hard, but I guess it's a necessary evil. An Olympic qualifying event is the first. Actually, this is pretty funny. It's the first contest I have ever had in my professional career, actually ever in my life, that I had to pay to enter.
You had to pay to enter?
I had to pay to enter this contest. Street League was an Olympic qualifying event in Rio. Flew to Rio, go skate their event, and I had to physically give them $200 cash to skate the contest.
Wow.
Which, look, $200, like whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I get it, but it's the principle of like, you have the best skateboarders in the world. Like Jamie Foy is skating this event. Jamie Foy, you are lucky to have him here.
And they're like, give me
and they're like, $200. Yeah. And you're like, look, I get it. It's not even me. Like, sure, I'll pay the $200, like whatever. But like Jamie Foy, like really,
That's incredible. Well, speaking of all this contest talk, you know what I think it's time for, buds?
Oh, name that video part.
Ooh.
Name That Video part is presented by our Patreon members. So thank you guys. You guys rule.
You're not going to drop some like snowboard videos on me, are you?
No, I think I gave you a meatball, to be honest with you.
In the skate round.
It's a skate part. And I'll tell you what, this is big for you. This is huge.
Okay.
If you don't get this is going to be bad.
If you fail, you lose all street
This could be bad for your career.
All right.
All your credibility could go out the window.
So if I don't get this, I have to go the Olympic skateboarding route.
Yes.
And you better win.
Yep. This could be, if you don't get this, it's going to be really, really, really bad. I'm just going to say that. Here we go.
Oh, come on.
I know.
That's too easy.
I blew it. That was too easy.
Heath Kirchart minefield. Costin, yeah, right.
Good job.
Yeah.
You got it right. You know what I almost went with?
Absolutely.
I almost went with Costin Menikamati.
Ooh,
That was a little more,
a little more obscure.
But
yeah.
I wasn't sure your age. I was like, you might not get that.
Oh yeah.
This is what you just won. This is from our friends over at Yeti. You got yourself a Yeti. I think it's called a carry-all.
Yeah, carry all.
Yep.
Oh.
And it's filled with bomb hole merch.
Amazing.
You can put beers in there. You can put Mountain Dew in there if you want.
Yeah.
You can put your items and go to the beach. You know, you can have a little beach party with that thing.
Nice. I actually I'm a big fan of Yeti. So this is sick. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeti makes this cooler that has huge cooler that has taps that you can put.
Oh, wow. I've
whatever.
seen that,
yeah,
actually.
Yeah. So, Yeti's listening. Send him my address.
Use promo code Sean Malto at checkout for 69% off.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Thank you.
part 2 of Name That Video part. This is for our listeners. This is a snowboard part. And basically how we find our winners on Instagram. When Sean's episode comes out, comment on his photo. First person to comment right gets what, buds?
Prize pack.
That's absolutely correct. Here we go. Okay. Thank you guys for playing Name That Video part. So,
I have a quick question for you about video part songs. You remember that song like Annie up, got that full. Who was what snowboard part? was
JP
it?
Walker,
Yeah. Okay.
True Life.
My brother had downloaded that video off like LimeWire or something. We used to watch that as kids. But
Sick
that's
track.
like the snowboard part that like sticks out when I was younger.
Yeah, that's a legendary icon. That's like
Yeah,
actually
that's an
very
iconic.
similar to Costin. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
okay, cool.
Kind of like caliber of heaviness of video part.
Yeah. That song, that part.
Now going back to actually, you know what I forgot to ask, which I'm going to ask now after. How confident were you going into Name That Video part? We always ask our
Yeah,
guests
you always
that.
ask that.
I was a little scared, but it's one of those things where like, yeah, if you would have picked some like,
There's a lot of videos.
there's a lot of videos. You could have picked some Toy Machine video. Like, I wouldn't have, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen a lot of video parts in my life. Like, sometimes that gets a little scrambled.
And you're only going to remember those ones you had
I figured Girl Chocolate. That was my line.
that you were
Yeah.
watching over and over.
So going back to video parts, I kind of want to just pick your brain on this because, we grew up in the era of watching, like you mentioned, True Life and Snowboarding, these like big marquee movies. And, the whole thing growing up was like, I just want to get last part. I just want to film that perfect video part. But now we have Instagram and YouTube and people have their own channels. And where do you feel like we're at with video parts and how people should put out footage?
Man, that's a great question. It's a hard one because, like, look, the internet's great for like we get to, get instant content. Like we get to see what the people we look up to are doing on a daily basis, and they put out this content and whatever. And like so, before it was a video part would come out like once every couple years that would push like the level of skateboarding up, right? So you got this like push, whatever. And now it's like every single day, all day, the level is just going up and up and up. And so it's progressing all of sports in a way that is really rapid and, great. That's amazing, but you still like video parts are still very, very important, I feel like. And it's one of those things where like it's hard to not like think about skating and any actually like skating, snowboarding, anything without video parts. You're like, this is kind of like the mecca of like your career. You know what I mean? Like I think of Mark Johnson, for example, like all of his video parts, and he's had so many good ones, like that's his legacy. And I think that's like a very important part of like kids growing up. They have to realize like you kind of got to earn your spot like that in skateboarding. You have to film video parts, and like that's something that's going to live past your career. So although the internet is great and Instagram and YouTube, like whatever, it's cool. It's helping a lot of people and it's pushing skating in a way. Like you can't forget about video parts. that's all there is. You know what I mean? That's like what we got.
Instagram clips just aren't going to live.
No, you'll forget about them. You know what I mean?
They're gone in like a week. You forget about them.
It's hard. And, even like full length videos, like it's like that, you know what I mean? Like having a part like on Thrasher, like that's sick. That's amazing. But like having a full length video come out, you know what I mean? Like we did Pretty Sweet. And like Pretty Sweet is like, came out on DVD. It's like, this is like, now we have like a tangible video that we all came together and put together. And you could kind of see the team kind of gel and be a part of it. And like, that's special. And like, can't get rid of that. Like, that would suck.
Well said. Yeah, our feeble attempt to hang on to it is to have named that video part because we want the importance of it to last and to stick, and we don't want to lose those things. And it's interesting though now because I don't have a DVD player that's plugged into my TV, and so it's YouTube. So I feel like the way to do it too is like hopefully everything goes on YouTube now, and at least if you don't have a DVD, and then organizing and making sure you make little playlists and stuff. I think that's the way, I see a lot of, when we go on trips, we'll put on like a snowboard video playlist or skate video playlist, and it's like all these parts, or, Girl Chocolate or whatever, go to Girl Chocolate's channel and play all their videos.
Yeah. I mean,
Trail Tap, I guess.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think it's like, you can let it live on the internet. Mm-hmm. No one has DVD players anymore. And like everyone, like whatever, you just download whatever, but like Primitive just did Define. Sick, like
hour-long
cool.
video.
That's an hour-long video of the whole team skating. Like,
do they put it out on DVD too, or just in that?
That I don't know. Probably just the internet.
Yeah, that's cool though.
But like, look, they did a full-length video.
Yeah, we need those videos.
Skateboarding needs those videos.
Yeah.
I'm sure snowboarding needs those videos. It's like that. That's
I wonder
important.
if young kids coming up don't care if they're in a video like that or not. They'll just want to have a part.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Hopefully they realize the value.
Hopefully after this bomb hole episode,
Well, going back, you talked about Pretty Sweet. Let's dive into that part because that was one of your best parts of your whole career. Is that your favorite part, or where would you say?
Yeah, that for sure was one. I mean, we worked on it for like 3.5 years. So
3.5 years.
3.5 years, that whole video, that was like the whole process of it.
Sick.
It was long and fun and terrible all at the same time.
All of it together.
Just sitting in parking lots at like 4 a.m. trying to do a flat bar trick for 3 hours.
It's horrible when it's happening, but when you look back on it, it's a great thing.
It's a great thing.
Yeah.
And the main thing too is like we were a team doing it together, which was great. So like Ty Evans was the filmer, and he like made it all happen, and he was like the one pushing, and like that dude is so fucking gnarly. It's insane. He'll drive to Kansas City like going to Walmart. Like it's like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Like, I don't know. He's like, wanna go to Chicago? Like, I guess. He's like, cool, I'm driving out 9 a.m. Like that's just how he is. So spent a lot of time on the road with Ty, Corey Kennedy, Mike Mo, Stevie Perez. Like we had our group, and like we went out and just basically that's what we did for 3 years. It was fucking amazing.
Well, we got to ask. I know it's probably told the story a million times, but Buds might not even know if you've seen it. But he grinds his apartment at his apartment. He grinds a rail in his house.
Yeah,
nice.
At the intro, you want to tell us the story on that?
Yeah. So it was kind of like the tail end of filming for Pretty Sweet. We did a Kansas City trip. And Ty, like I had a loft in downtown Kansas City. It sounds cool, but it's definitely downtown Kansas City. It was like super cheap and like easy. But so Ty came in. He was like, "Dude, have you ever grinded this rail?" There was like a I think it was like 16 or 17 stair rail in the loft. And I was like, inside. Yeah. So it was, like
his living room.
So kind of a big downstairs and then a lofted bedroom, but the bedroom had a handrail coming down. And it was definitely kind of big and steep, but I was like, I thought about it, thought it'd be kind of funny, whatever. And he was like, cool. I was like, oh, that's weird, whatever. And then, so we skated that whole trip. And then the last day of the trip, I wanted to go skate this spot, and Ty came into my loft with all of his camera gear. And I was like, what's up? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, do what? And he was like, grind the rail. And I was like, what? And he was like, all right. And he just started setting up stuff. It was like, we're doing this. And Ty is like that in a way. Like, he's the guy that you'll go to a spot and he'll be like, anyone want to skate it? And everyone's like, I don't know. And he'll light the spot up.
Yeah, start setting up the lights.
And just he'll set up the camera and everyone's like, I guess,
we're doing this.
So he just started setting up and I was like, oh shit. And he was like, all right. And he had this whole vision. He was like, you're going to wake up, you're going to brush your teeth, whatever, and then grind the rail and then give the camera a thumbs up afterwards. And I was like, fuck, all right. And then all I could think about was like, this is my home. Like, I live here. Like, if I get smoked, I have to walk down these stairs every day and, like, look at it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something I get to walk away from and be like, I never want to come here again. Like, I live here. So, whatever. Ended up setting up. I was, like, kind of nervous. And then at the bottom of the rail, when you land, there's a window that goes off, like, a 2-story drop. So we had to like put a mattress in the window and then like screw this carpet up to like kind of hide it and all this, whatever. So ended up, I did it 3rd try.
Wow.
Grinded it, landed, and I was so hyped, like, thank God that's over. He's like, all right, cool, one more. And I'm like, really? Like, shit, okay, whatever. Ty wants one more, Ty wants one more. I ended up doing it 4 times.
4 times?
I landed it 4 times, grinded 3 times on camera, like for Ty, and then once for the photo because he didn't want flashes in the video.
Oh, wow.
And then
They're like that, huh? No flashes in the video?
Ty was like that. I didn't want that. The skaters hate that shit. We're like, we gotta do it twice.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, you know what's amazing? I always think about in snowboarding, a lot of times, like, there'll be a photographer, you have somebody filming fisheye in the stairs and something, and you'll be like, yo, are you down to do one more after you get it, just to, like, get a photo without the filmer in there?
I don't want the filmer.
And I'm always like, yeah,
wide
for
angle shooting when I'm shooting photos.
Totally. I'm always like, yeah, for sure, I'll do it again. And then I'll land the trick, and they're like, all right, you down to do it again? I'm like, fuck no, I'm not going back out there.
Especially when it's something gnarly. It's just, it sucks to even ask.
Yeah. Dude, the intro, pretty sweet. I try to backsmith the rail, and I come up short, and I fly and hit my head super gnarly. In that clip, I landed the backsmith first try. And that was hey, one more. And it smoked me for like 4 weeks. I couldn't skate off of just like, oh, one more. You know what I mean? So like that shit can happen. It sucks. But
as a photographer, I try to only ask when it's like something mellow, you know, and if it's gnarly, I won't. It's like whatever, unless the dude's stoked.
But I get it. You know what I mean?
Or
like,
if it's really worth it, you know.
As a skater, you're psyched when you have like the perfect photo and it's the perfect video of it. Like, that's sick. Sometimes that comes at a price, you know?
Yeah.
Now, I'm wondering about this, too, because in snowboarding, at least in my career, I know that I had relationships with certain filmers and certain photographers where, like, we just gelled. And, like, every time I went on a trip with them, like Buds, I always got good photos of Buds or Oli Gagnon or, like, and there's other filmers I went out with and I'm like, dude, I just can't get a clip. Do you feel like you had that good filmer skater dynamic?
Yeah, so I've gotten lucky enough to be able to skate with my friends most of the time. You know, like I grew up skating with this guy, Aaron Shalene, who was a great filmer. Ryan Lovell, like transition to Ryan Lovell. He started filming all the local videos, and like him and I have a great relationship even to this day. And then Ty Evans was amazing. You eventually get to a point where like the filmers know you're skating. You know what I mean? So like there's times when like I go to a spot and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this, and they're like can kind of talk you through it. And I think that's like the best filmer, photographer, skater dynamic. You know what I mean? It's like, look, remember this day you did that, and like it was kind of like a little harder, but you figured it out. Like it's kind of going to be, you know what I mean? They can kind of talk you through it. I always felt like for me personally, filmers and photographers were almost like caddies. Like they were able to kind of talk me through it a little bit.
Sick.
Yeah. And
what do you think on this one, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Like, or they'll send me a spot.
Okay.
Let's go.
Like even I've been skating with this a good friend of mine. His name's Ant Travis. He films for Nike, and he'll send me spots and be like, "Hey, I think you can do this trick," and I look at it and I'm like, "Yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah, he
like,
knows
let's
my
go check
skating.
it out." And then he's like, "Cool, you can skate at this time, whatever." So like they're like working really hard to like figure it out. And then, you know what I mean? And then that just makes me want to work just as hard as well to like hopefully try to make it all happen.
I think when Chris is filming, he likes a filmer that gets him amped and like is hyped that he's doing stuff. So if it's a filmer that's quiet and not saying much because he's so focused, Chris just thinks like he doesn't like what he's doing or something.
Like you're bumming him out.
I don't know if it's
like this guy has.
you know. I think
does he like
it's
my trick. I don't
maybe
know.
not as much anymore, but when I was really, really in it, I
Yeah.
needed a lot of like. I'd be like, "Yo, how's the clip looking? Is it good? Like, are we looking good?"
Like,
and
you
like,
need to
and if
know it's
I
worth
needed
it.
like positive reinforcement, you
Yeah.
know.
So I'm the same way. I talk a lot when I get nervous. So like,
Yeah, I think the same.
when I'm at a rail, I'm like, yo, like Molly looks good, right? And they're like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people are like, what? And then other people are like, dude, you look solid. You
And
got
he
it.
needs
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And you're like,
Saying
cool.
You're solid.
And then like you bail one, they're like, dude, you fucking got this shit. And you're like, really? Like, all right. And like, even in my mind, I know I wasn't even close.
Buds,
Yeah.
that's Buds.
Yeah.
I like literally like just completely body bagged in the landing. He's like, "You got this, bud."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Dude, I do not have this. I just got
Then
slaughtered."
Go and get it.
That has to be the worst for filmers and photographers. There's times I'm like, hey, this rail's gonna grind, right? They're like, for sure, and I stick, and I'm like, dude,
100%.
like, yeah, maybe you should wax it, I guess.
All right, I want to talk about you. I know you've done some like kind of like business stuff. Like you were part of that St. Archer deal, right?
Yeah, I was basically Josh Landon, who is one of the founders and CEO of St. Archer. He was my manager at the time, my first manager ever. So he very quickly after, like, I was like, yeah, let's do this. He did a couple things for me, and then he was like, hey, we're starting this beer brand, like me, Mikey Taylor, and P-Rod. And I was like, amazing, cool. And then, you know, I was like, of course. And yeah, it was a great experience. Definitely, you know.
I heard that one went really well for
It was
the investors.
Yeah, it was a successful
Yeah.
successful investment. But it was actually really fun too, because you're like, you know, one, it's a beer brand, so like all the stuff around it, promoting it is just like basically a party. And two, it was like it's pretty second nature to us, because like, you know, without thinking about it, like we're basically just like marketing people, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you're a brand.
yeah, it's like skating is like, for sure. Like, we go out, we try to learn tricks, we try to get better, film video parts, whatever. But at the same time, it's like you're marketing yourself and brands are marketing you. So like, when it came time to do this business, it was like, okay, like, let's just do what we do with this brand. And the industry was like, you guys are killing it. And we're like, really? Like, we're just doing what we always thought was like what we were supposed to do. So that was really cool. And Miller Coors ended up buying it. And I don't think it's around anymore.
Oh,
Which
it's
is
not?
I think they just folded it, which
They,
is
like,
a little.
just bought it to kill it.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
that, right?
We
Let's
were a problem, I guess.
Take out
Yeah.
the competition.
Market share is getting gobbled up.
Yeah.
But they're making so much money with their own company. It's crazy that they do it, even buy these brands for so much money, you know?
For sure. You know,
It's
it's
good
like
they do.
for them, it's just a little speed bump. You know,
Yeah.
for us, it was like life changing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was great. It was really fun, and it was cool to like really bring the surf, skate, snow community together and kind of do it, which was a fun time. You know what I mean?
And you guys never had to like re-up money like you have to with some
We
investments?
we did. Oh yeah. It was
scary when that happens.
It was very scary.
because
You know.
either otherwise you lose some of your ownership or your
For sure.
investment
And like, so Josh Landon, he was my manager at the time, became the CEO, whatever. And it was his first time like running a brand like that. So, you know, as these like cap raises kept happening, we were like, I was like,
yeah, where's this heading? What's
yo,
going
like,
on?
you know what you're doing? Like, what's going on? Whatever. And he explained it. He was really good and really smart, and he explained it. And like, ultimately I kept trying to do it the best I could, for the money I had. And then, that thing, he was absolutely 100% right, and he ran it in the right way. And now he is like a drink mogul. The guy is insane. You know what I mean? He's like one of the best entrepreneur stories that I personally know.
He must have made a lot of money, huh?
He made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And has continued to make a lot of money in the past.
Now, Malto, I just want to take this opportunity. We have a business opportunity for you right now. So
Okay.
You tried our product earlier. It's called Run Through a Wall Smelling Salts.
Okay.
We're currently sold out. Maybe by the time this podcast comes out, we'll have more. Probably
Sold
not.
out twice.
Let me
we've
get a little look at that.
So it's called Run Through a Wall Smelling Salts.
All right.
Basically, when you sniff it like you did earlier, it makes you want to run through a wall.
I can attest that is what it makes you feel like.
Investors, possibly you.
Yeah,
So
okay.
we were gonna do a cap raise. I heard you use that term earlier. Cap raise.
Just
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
that
Yeah.
raise.
Yeah. So we're gonna try to. I think we're gonna try to get some investors, and we're really trying to take out like Red Bull. Like we're kind of trying to be like a lot of people do energy drinks and stuff. Like why do you use energy drinks when you can just whack a smelling salt and then do like a 1440?
As far as we know,
Run
it's a
through a
lot
wall.
healthier than
Yeah.
Red Bull. As far as we know.
I
They've
do
done
have a
the
question
research.
about this.
Yep.
So what happened to Zeb when
Oh,
he?
yeah. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
sniffed way too hard.
He went
Oh,
in,
okay, so-
he did
Yeah.
have a little bit of liquid come out of his ears.
Yeah,
and
liquid came out of his ears. True
eyes
story.
as well.
Yeah.
I believe they're not FDA approved, so there's a couple. There's a little bit of red tape
Yeah.
we're gonna have to get through.
So a little funding to get that
Yeah,
FDA
we're gonna need to
approval.
get a little
Seen
cap
Zeb
raise.
snowboard. He like
Yeah.
approached sniffing just like he does his snowboarding.
We want instead of the Red Bull helmets and all those things, we want Run Through a Wall smelling salts helmet at the top of the X Games.
It just
Boom.
has two little things that pop.
We want to see you right
Yeah.
before Street League,
Yeah,
right before you
snap
kick
one,
zapped
sniff it.
out. Yeah.
on air. It's kids. It pans to your angle. You whack a smelling salt and then kickflip front crook the hub.
And then just that just blow through the park. You know what? I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm down. We're gonna
first
have to.
time we went
We're gonna have
live
to
on the
talk to
mat-
Mountain Dew about that.
Oh,
you know.
true.
Oh yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah.
There's a
We
little
can do some
red tape.
cross-
I feel like it complements each other though.
Yeah.
No one's putting Mountain Dew up their nose. So
Yeah.
it's
True.
Certain.
And the first time we went live with them online, we sold out within like minutes too.
Yeah.
It's a
Minutes.
big product.
Yeah.
Our,
You had like 10 bottles.
Don't tell everybody.
We sold out.
Yeah, those things. It's crazy. They sell better than any product we've ever had, and they sell out immediately. So.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm.
It does actually work. Is this like the same? Is this basically when people get knocked out what they
Yeah,
use?
it
So
is
like
what they
that's
use,
what it
yeah.
is, right?
Yep.
I
They
remember
used
that.
to use them in boxing matches or
Yeah.
whatever, and someone faints.
They just
Yeah.
kicks them back in the
They
gear,
used to have them in first aid kits.
and then you two decided it was just good to use it without being knocked
Well,
out.
we saw hockey players using it in the playoffs, and we said, you know what, we ought to use that for podcasting when people start getting a little bit
Yeah.
stale, a little stagnant.
Around the 2 hour mark.
Yeah,
just
around
hit
the
'em
2
with
hour
it.
mark,
Yep.
snap one. Snap
So-
and sniff.
Going back to that, one thing I am curious about though too is we have a lot of there's a lot of skateboarders and snowboarders that have a career in action sports, and then they just kind of go broke. Like life after boarding's hard. The money management side of things is hard. Do you have any advice for people that are managing? You seems like you've done well for yourself. Do you have any advice for people in that department?
Well, I got lucky. So my aunt was a business manager for McDonald's. And so at a young age,
Give her a
shout
hand.
out Aunt Nisi. At a young age, she was kind of managing my money. So she was like, look, you don't need whatever, just basically put as much towards retirement as you can. And this is like how to do taxes and this whatever, create an LLC and whatever. So there's it's a game, you know what I mean? Like how America is with the taxes. There's ways to kind of go around it. And so I had that at a young age, and I got with my friends that I grew up with in the skateboard industry were very smart with their money as well. I guess my advice would be to just save. It's hard, we dedicate our lives to skateboarding. Eventually, your body's not going to be able to keep up, and it's going to be over. And that's just inevitable. In all of pro sports, you are going to have to stop at some point. And then you want runway to be able to figure out what you want to do. You know, and however good you are at saving your money is the more runway you're going to have to figure it out. And you know what I mean? It's hard. Like I'm struggling with it right now. Like I'm 32. I'm not old necessarily, but I'm old in the skateboarding world. And like, I'm going to try to skate and continue my career as best as I can for as long as I possibly can. But I do know like, yeah, like that road is kind of coming to a close, not too far down the line. You know what I mean? I still feel great, and I still feel like I can do video parts and whatever, but I'm starting to think about it, and I have zero clue what I'm going to do. You know, I think my friends around me, you know, I've been talking, I've been thinking, and like, but I will say my aunt, when I was 16, the way she had set me up and the way I have been able to like kind of save money off to the side, I will have some years to figure it out.
She started you at 16.
At 16,
that's awesome.
I maxed out a SEP, which is a simplified employee pension plan. And I've maxed out my SEP ever since. Every year. And then there are other things I've put my money into, you know, investing into storage unit funds and apartment complex funds, and just trying to be able to have like a little bit of passive income come in, you know, after skating, to be able to like figure it out. You know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those things. It's the hardest thing in life, I feel like, is like transitioning out of something you've dedicated your life to into something else. Because all I've known is skating. I dropped out of high school to do this.
Yeah,
you know
and
what I
people
mean?
can get depressed when that ends. So at least you have some money, it'll keep you hyped, I guess.
Exactly, or at least like get you to something, because ultimately you will figure out something you are passionate about, and you'll figure it out. And you know, skateboarding has instilled values into my life that I feel like will transition to other parts. You know what I mean?
Like,
Like,
a lot of skaters seem to just get into skate business.
yeah, skate
So
business,
that's
whatever
good,
you
too.
want.
You know that, you know?
Yeah, and look, skating is trying 1,000 times to land it once. You know what I mean? You take that into any part of life, and you'll be just fine.
Yeah,
you know
you'll
what I
be
mean?
just
If you're cool with failure for a while, just to kind of get that one thing, then sure. You know what I mean? But
if you can flip in, flip out, you got no problem getting doors slammed in your face.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah,
do
exactly.
anything.
It's like it's trial and error, and it's failure. It's just like failing until it somehow happens. But you definitely need a little bit of money for all
And
those
a lot
failures.
of the young pros don't have someone telling them to save their money, so that's good. That's good that she
No.
did that for you.
Speaking to our
Even
boy,
taxes, right?
speaking about our boy Jeremy Rogers.
Yep.
He had told me when I was younger. He said, "Sean," he said, "I want you to spend every single dime you get every single month." Because
That's what he said?
That's what he told me, and he was like, "Because it'll only motivate you to make more money next month."
That's dope.
And I was like, "Jeremy, that's amazing. I love
Great
you,
advice, but I'm not going to.
I'm gonna go a different route here. I'm gonna save as much money as I possibly can."
That's
Wow.
cool. I love it. And one thing that's cool we didn't really talk about that I think we should talk about is your park in Kansas City. You had a private kind of TF park, and what's going on with that? You still have it?
Yeah, still have it. So I'm a part of the skate shop there, Escape is Skateboarding.
Are you an owner or?
I'm actually not an owner. They've sponsored me at a young age, and they're the ones that have sent my tapes out to companies. And Dan Askew and Nick Owen are the two owners. Shout out to them. They have just helped me so much in my career that, you know, I have to like give back to them. It's like that's it. You know what I mean? And they do so much for the local community. And as you know, I'm a big Kansas City I love it there. It's my home. So they really push skateboarding on a local level like I've never seen before. So yeah, so when I lived there too, the winters suck. It's terrible. You can throw a flat bar in a parking garage, but there's nothing like smacking your hand on cold concrete when it's like 10 degrees outside. So we had searched for warehouses, and we finally found one, and I was able to build the skate park there at the time. And Mountain Dew actually helped put features in there as well and shape the park up. So shout out to Mountain Dew for helping that out and making that happen. But yeah, we have a 10,000 square foot warehouse right outside of downtown. We have like a sick skate park in there. And we have 25 members that pay $100 a month and they get to skate the park whenever they want. And I think that's like a fair deal.
Yeah, that's sick.
You can skate a private skate park whenever you want for $100 a month. It's like pretty sick.
Do you still live out there in Kansas City?
I don't. I actually sold that place that I grinded the rail 2 years ago. But I go all the time.
Yeah.
It's like I probably go more now than even when I had the Loft there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Loft was
always traveling anyways.
The Loft was sick and I loved it, but it was just like I wasn't there enough to kind of take care of it. My good friend that was living there was like ready to move out with his girlfriend, and it was just time. You know what I mean? It's like it's time to let go. Even though I was holding on for so long.
Holding on.
Smart choice, probably in the long run.
Yeah.
Now let's keep things moving. We actually have a couple other guest questions. This one's from friend of the show, Kelly Hart, also previous guest. Here we go.
Yo, what up, Sean? This is Kelly. Man, I know that you've done a lot of gnarly rails and tricks on rails, whatever, but in your time. But I was wondering, what's the one rail or one trick on a rail that you look back at and you're the most proud? Like, that's my favorite thing I've done on a rail. Let me know. Thanks.
Kelly Hart, great talk show host as well.
To hear his laugh.
Great podcaster.
Yeah.
Fellow podcaster.
Yeah. So I would say the one trick that I'm probably like, skating's kind of weird in a sense of like, sometimes you do tricks and like you're excited to land a trick, and sometimes you do tricks and you're just excited it's over. You know, like you're like, thank God I got out of that one. And I feel like this is a kind of a perfect combination of both. But it was the backside overcrook down that the bigger rail. One of my last tricks and pretty sweet. Partly because like I really was scared of that one. And I really didn't want to do it. And Ty was pushing and like I kind of had to. And it was the one, it was like right towards the end of filming for the video. We had permitted the spot. We only had a couple hours left on the permit. And like, I kind of just had to do it. So like, I just made myself get over it and do it. And that was one of the tricks where I was like very proud of myself for actually getting over that hump. And one, just actually ollieing to it and trying it. And then two, I was like so relieved to kind of be done with that 3.5 year process with the video. Like it was kind of like I landed it and I was like, good. Like that's it. We did it. Cool. Let's wrap this up. It's time to like move on, you know?
Good feeling. You guys get permits, huh?
We didn't. We don't usually. It's renegade style, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? You get in, you try to film it before you get kicked out. But that was the intro to Pretty Sweet was at that school. So we actually permitted out for the intro because we had like whatever,
special shoot.
a whole thing,
Yeah.
you know, a whole pre-planned thing. And then after that, after the intro, after we filmed the intro, it was like, okay, let's just like try to get to business and actually like film this trick.
That's sick.
Now, that's kind of actually seems kind of horrible because in some senses, like, you know, when you go to a really big spot and you're almost like hoping you get kicked out.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
yeah.
you don't have any excuse.
Call the police on
You're like-
yourself.
No excuse. I was like, fuck. I guess.
Yeah, you
I
got
was-
permission. You
Yeah.
got permit.
I got a trick nerd question because I think in Pretty Sweet you do the back overcrook nollie flip.
Mhm.
Have you ever, maybe you have and I missed it, but have you ever done back overcrook nollie backside flip?
I have never filmed one though, but
Really?
I've done it. Yeah, at skate parks, just on the flat bar. Honestly, my first one was on accident too.
Really?
Yeah, I just kind of got locked up on the flat bar. Like I locked on the backside overcrook and my shoulder just kept turning and I just like went for it and it just like wrapped around good. And I landed it and was like, whoa. And then it took me like an hour to do it on purpose. But it's one of those tricks I really want to like try to figure out a spot to do. That and back overcrook nollie back heel. Two tricks I
Oh,
like
yeah.
trying to trying to get locked in.
Great white buffaloes, if you will.
Great white buffaloes. Is that what that is?
I don't know, just the one that you're just chasing forever.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess.
The other white buffalo is so rare, and you never see one.
Got it.
I guess old school hunters, maybe. I don't know. Back in the 1800s.
Well, while we're on guest questions, let's hit another one from another friend of the show and previous guest, Danny Davis.
Shit.
Yo, what up, Bombhole? Danny Davis here. This question goes out to Sean Malto, one of my favorite skateboarders since I was quite young, actually. I'd love to know what Sean's favorite kind of side of snowboarding. What is his favorite? Is it rails? Does he like to watch like half pipe, the slope style, people riding big free riding lines in Alaska? Like, what is he most stoked on in the snowboard world?
He kind of rambles for a while, so I'm just going to cut him off.
Just cut the legend off like that.
He rambles for like another solid 45 seconds, so I figured I'd just kind of... That was the question. The question was like, thank you, Danny. That was a great question.
Yeah. Danny is by far my favorite snowboarder in the world, so it's great that he called in.
It's a good choice, too.
Yeah,
Respectable.
He is the man.
Yeah, he's dope.
Sickest dude. Great style. And I've got to spend a lot of time with him too, just through some Mountain Dew trips as well. So I think so. When I first started snowboarding, I was really into like the street shit. Like I liked, seeing like the crazy kinked rails and like all that. And like that to me, it still is really cool. But as I've evolved in snowboarding and as time goes on, I just love like just seeing people like hit those powder lines, like dropping in those like crazy lines and going through trees. And like, I just think that shit is so sick, partly because I can kind of relate to it too. Like, I see like Zach Hale do like 25 flat 25s. I can't relate to that. I can't even like think about how to do that. Although I think it's sick because like, that's what I do skating. But when it comes to snowboarding, like just seeing like tree runs and like those like crazy lines from the top of mountains, I'm like, that's so fucking sick. And like those like kind of natural jumps, I'm like, fucking like that is like what makes me want to like go snowboarding.
Go snowboard more.
Yeah. That's why I love Danny. Like he makes it look so sick.
Yeah, so
like,
easy.
He's so cruisy, and then like you hit the pipe with him and you're like, oh shit, this dude is the man.
Didn't you and Danny snowboard together and skate? You skated, he snowboarded for a Mountain Dew thing?
Yeah, so Mountain Dew did this thing called Super Snake in Tahoe, and they built like this like crazy kind of snake run for skaters with like obstacles, but they also built like a snowboard run that kind of like weaved in and out, and it was really, really, really scary for us skaters. Like
they
it
throw
was
wood down?
High speed?
Yeah, it was
so
wood.
like
it was like
wood.
scaffolding down a fucking mountain. It was crazy. It was super scary. I only like made it through the whole thing like once or twice, but like it was so slow for the snowboarders.
Scary as
so
hell for you.
The idea was great, right? So like skaters come in, snowboarders like whatever, leave in and out, but like they were just like speed checking and like all
Try to
slow,
get the
and I
timing.
was like super scared the whole time.
There's a video up for that?
There's a video. It's called Super Snake. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. But it was sick. Like Danny Davis, just seeing him like do his thing. Him and I like grinded this hubba together at the same time, which was rad. And then Scotty, is it Lego or Lago?
I've heard both ways.
I think Lago maybe is the correct way, but I have no clue. I have no credibility on that answer.
All right, so it was Danny and Scotty Lago, and then Jeremy Jones showed up. That was sick. And yeah, we were just basically like, we filmed the video, which was cool, you know what I mean? Like we were like, all right, let's get this shots, whatever. And then it was just like full blown sessions. Like I was snowboarding and trying to do like whatever, figure it out, and like Danny was skating and stuff, and then we were like doing doubles, and it was like, it was basically like we had like 3 or 4 days to film it, and like we like actually took care of everything like early, and then we just seshed it.
Just
and
had
it was
fun.
Awesome, yeah. And which was really cool, like not a lot of people kind of cross that boundary. So it's cool that Mountain Dew, like, they know I love snowboarding, they know Danny loves skating, so It was pretty
Perfect.
like let's just cross this up and see if we can make something happen here, you know? And
That's cool.
we did.
You know, Danny, he's known for riding half pipe and transition and powder. And he doesn't get on the rails a lot. We refer to the rails as the steel. Do you know Dan's nickname by chance when he gets on the rails?
No.
We call him Steely Dan.
Steely Dan.
Yeah. That's when when he starts putting up those front boards.
He's probably pretty good at it.
Oh, he's nice, but he has razor sharp edges. So, you know your edges on the side of your snowboard.
Yeah.
On a half pipe, you want, like, those things are icy. You want them to be razor sharp. So it's almost like jumping onto a bone dry rail that's never been waxed. Like you might catch. You just might grab.
So that's the scare. Like, do rail, like snowboarders, do they shave their edges down?
Yeah, I think it's actually, it used to be really common, like where you like grind them down to nothing. I used to take them down to nothing. I leave them pretty much the same out of the plastic. I don't like sharpen them or anything, but a lot of rail specific people really make them dull, and especially if you're going to front board a kink or something, because that's your heel edge is going to dig in. You need to like in the streets or something, you might just get that thing dull, so you know you're going to be safe on a kink rail.
Yeah, frontboarding through a kink rail on a snowboard is like, that's just, it blows my mind.
These
I don't know how
guys
to
are
do
so
it.
light-footed these days, man. They go.
Do you
knobs.
hop, or do you just try to get
You
through
go
it?
kind of like Gordon Lightfoot.
Gordon Lightfoot.
You lift your heel up. You go Gordon Lightfoot on him. The good thing is you can't cut open your taint, which is great.
That's good, but 25 flat 25, you got to deal with that.
Yeah, 100%.
Red Gerard, watching him at Peace Park on that A-frame rail was psycho.
Red's just good.
Yeah, Red rides for Mountain Dew too, so like I've got to go on trips with him and like talk with him about certain things, mostly about golf. Red and I talk about golf a lot. But that A-frame rail, which I think I claimed I was gonna grind it.
That thing's a beefcake. Did you get on that thing?
No, I didn't do it. So yes, I'm kind of a poser.
I was watching Peace Park when we were there, and I kind of had this epiphany watching, and I think I kind of back this claim, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think Red Gerard's the best snowboarder alive on planet Earth. That was my deduction watching him ride.
That's pretty dope.
I would have to, my small knowledge of snowboarding, I love watching him. He's so fucking sick. Yeah, it's like what do you call it? There's like a term, and is it like battleship rail or something?
Yeah, battleship. Yeah.
But he like board slid and then hopped to like a 5-0 or tail press, and then went back to board slide down. It was like, I blew my mind. No one was doing anything like that, and Red was just.
He's a problem. The kid's a problem out there. Now, where he's kind of not that much of a problem though is the golf course. I've noticed, like
Is he not that good?
He hasn't quite fit it. Like I can mop the floor with him. Last time I went, I mean, maybe he's gotten better.
Maybe he had a bad day though.
Yeah. How are you feeling on the golf course against him?
I've never golfed with him. We just talked about it a lot.
Oh, you talk swings.
We're both like we both play TaylorMade clubs, and TaylorMade has hooked us up, and which is shout out to TaylorMade. They're amazing about that. But yeah, I've never played with him, but I'd be pretty confident in beating him. I know he's been golfing, but I've been playing. Yeah. So.
Question: you ever put a couple bucks on the line when you're playing? How's that work?
Do I ever? I always do.
Always.
Yeah.
What's the point of even playing? Like, I don't even. To me, it doesn't even matter. Like the putt, there's like I don't care if the putt goes in.
There's no money involved,
or it doesn't go
matter.
in, even if it's $1.
Here's the thing about golf. Everybody sucks. It's like everybody sucks at golf. So, you put a little money on it and you play per hole and like whatever. And that's the fun of golf, right? Like you're just like, you might shoot a 10 on a hole, but if you're playing per hole, then it doesn't matter. The next hole you restart, whatever, holes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
playing skins.
It gives a chance.
Question: who? Let's talk skaters and golf. Who's a bit of a threat out there on the golf course in skateboarding?
Always Costin. Costin is, he has 3 kids and he runs businesses and whatever. He's busy and he's amazing skateboarder, and it's like he doesn't have a lot of time to golf, but he's always a problem. The dude grinds, but he's fucking Eric Costin, you know what I mean? He's played like pro-ams with professional golfers, and he's gotten lessons for the past like 20 years. So
I feel like him standing over that 3-foot putt that's like clutch, he's going to go Drano every time.
Yeah. Costin's always a good
ice water veins.
You know, we play like 2-on-2 a lot and whatever. So Costin's always a good partner to have on the team.
Would you say Costin's the Tom Brady of skateboarding?
I mean, I don't look at Tom Brady the same way you do, but I would say he's the Michael Jordan of skateboarding.
There you go.
All right. One thing we got to do that we haven't done yet is the pub beer crapshoot.
That's right.
Welcome to the Pub Beer Crapshoot.
You gonna crush some Canton, buds?
Might as well, right? It's about that time of the show.
It is, yes. How's it tasting?
It's delicious.
Nice.
It's cheap, fun. It's pub beer.
That's their motto, cheap, fun beer. If you're thinking about getting absolutely annihilated and drinking about 75 beers, waking up bloated, swollen, possibly urinating your pants, what are you going to choose, buds?
Pub beer every time.
Responsibly. I should say that. Responsibly pub beer. Now, getting into the pub beer crapshoot, you just got to roll that dice, and then I'll tell you what you got to do.
2 of them or just 1?
2 of them.
Dose, yeah, 2.
All right, here we go. Responsibly 75.
You got an 8?
8.
8's a shitty question, so I'm going to go 7.
Okay.
Who's your favorite person to party with? One of your favorite I think it's like in the skate industry or whatever. It doesn't matter, kind of.
Skater, photographer, filmer, doesn't matter?
Yeah, maybe do skate, snow, photographer. Maybe you could do a couple. Or whatever, just do whatever.
Okay,
do whatever you want.
My favorite skater to party with has to be Paul Rodriguez.
Smoke some stogies? Or
Great dude. We smoke cigars, but Paul's good for any situation. He's good if you want to smoke cigars and have a glass of whiskey. Cool. If you want to go to a dive bar and hang out and just whatever, lose your mind. Great dude. Snowboarder, party. You know, it's hard not to say Danny Davis. He's so fun to just kick it with. And that guy, he knows how to drink some beers.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
And then like my all-time good homie it's like my party guy is Tiba Jefferson. Photographer. He's like one of my best friends, but that dude is amazing and super fun to hit the town with.
Solid.
Good answers.
Well, we do a little section of this show called Hot Takes. I think it's a good time to get into Hot Takes. What do you think, buds?
Mm-hmm.
So first thing we always ask is, who is the Michael Jordan, both male and female, or GOAT of skateboarding? Who you got?
Male and female?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say the GOAT, Michael Jordan of my generation, who I look at, is Eric Costin and Alyssa Steamer.
That is a very solid answer. Mm-hmm. Love that. Next question is, who's the most underrated?
Well, I mean, look, one of the most underrated skaters I've ever been around, one of the most talented people I've ever seen skateboard was this guy, Ryan Pierce. He's from Kansas City, and, he had a chance to be a pro skater, and honestly, he just was like, I'd rather just do my thing. I'd rather just skate however I want to.
Oh, he wasn't down.
It's not that he wasn't down. It was just like, it just wasn't the right time for him, maybe.
He wanted to skate on his terms.
Yeah, exactly. He was just like, look, I love skateboarding. And I'm going to skate however I want to skate. And so when the industry, so I just think it just didn't line up for him. Really good friend of mine. But if you ask some real skaters around Ryan Pierce, they'll be like, yeah, he's one of the best ever.
Wow.
Like that answer.
Yeah.
Next question, rails or ledges?
Rails, for sure.
Okay, best style ever.
Kenny Anderson, best skate style ever. Snowboard style, Danny Davis.
Respectable. Best board graphic ever.
Best board graphic. Man, there's a lot of them. I'm going to have, you know what? One of the graphics that stands out in my mind, it's not even like that sick of a board graphic, but it was this Zero board that had like a pumpkin on it that was like some like weird Halloween whatever, but it was my first pro model skateboard I've ever bought, and it was a Trainwreck Zero board, and that to me will always kind of be like my favorite.
Shout out Alex Gall right there, huh? Okay, if you could go heliboarding, we're going back to snowboarding. You go heliboarding, good times boarding, just powder runs, like you were talking about earlier. There's 3 people in the world. Who you bringing in the heli?
Who am I bringing in the heli? Danny Davis, for sure. I've been talking a lot about Danny. Heliboarding. I've met her before, and I follow her on Instagram. I think she's super sick. Laura Hadar.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
No, yep.
That's
She was on
right.
Nike.
She's
Yep.
dope. And the third person would probably be, you know what? This is coming out of left field, but do you guys know who Craig Weatherby is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw you guys were playing dominoes at Peace Park.
The Good Life.
Yeah.
So Craig, good friend of mine, love snowboarding with him. So I'm going to bring Craig, Danny, and Laura.
Sounds like a
Greg's
pretty
chill,
solid
man. That's
chopper.
a good crew.
Yeah.
We
Pro skaters don't get in the helis much.
Yeah, that's one you guys don't get it in the.
No, we never
get in the birds.
We never get invited. I don't know.
or even just for
Yeah.
skateboarding.
Well, you know who
there's not
does?
really an
Bob
opportunity.
Burnquist. Danny Way.
With the big ramp.
Yeah, big
Yeah,
ramp.
Danny jumped out of a chopper
that's
onto
right.
a ramp. Yeah,
That's right.
Burnquist flies choppers. Helis are sketchy though.
Yeah.
There's
what was
not
somebody saying like every heli goes down at some point or something?
Yeah, fuck, dude, that's
sketchy information right there.
scary.
Maybe you could incorporate that into street skating. Sometime.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like a heli, like a really low hover, like caveman boardy on a steep rail.
for sure.
really low
Yeah,
heli.
that's
towing.
cool. That caveman board's like cost $10,000. Great.
I'm surprised Nike
Yeah.
hasn't done a video though where the heli's out filming in the streets or something because they did that in snowboarding.
Yeah.
Well, Ty did it.
Oh, Ty did it.
Yeah, Ty did
The
it.
Nerd Bird.
We Are Blood Mountain Dew video.
Now they got
so Ty
drones.
was flying up around the chopper or
Skating
whatever.
a rooftop in Dubai on a ledge, trying not to fall off the
Exactly.
Pretty sketchy. I wouldn't even want to go there.
It was like the most expensive hotel in the world, and we're skating a ledge. They didn't even let us like in the hotel. We had to take the service elevator to the top.
Really?
Yeah,
No,
dude.
you guys
Anybody's
coming
board
in.
fall off?
No. They had like it was pretty buttoned up, you know. But I think the hotel was like $25,000 a night or something crazy.
That's it?
Yeah, that's
That's
it.
mellow.
And they like you had to pay money just to go into the lobby, and so like they didn't even like we just took a service elevator to the top, and then like Ty filmed us do ledge tricks with a fucking helicopter. It was
So you
like
must have
super
paid,
strange.
though, to even do that, right?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
still
for
didn't
sure.
let you in the lobby.
You're like 40 tries into a nose grind, nollie flip, the
Yeah.
helicopter's hovering. It's like,
Can
next
you-
try, Ty, I got
Yeah.
you, over the walkie-talkie.
So next time I go to Scotch Pad up in Freedom Frontier, I'm gonna need a heli for my manual tricks. You know.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of, we got to kind of tell the listeners what Scotch Pad is. Basically, at the cabin, the Freedom Frontier, we have a manual pad there. And Scotty Arnold self-proclaimed it Scott's Pad. He basically was like, oh, how's Scott's Pad doing? And, oh, you like Scott's Pad? You want to skate Scott's Pad later? And eventually, his persistency, it stuck as Scott's Pad. And then Lauren over here, I heard her come up with Scotch Pad is what we changed it to, like Scotch Brite. So it's officially been changed to Scotch Pad, which we were like overheating robots repeating that up at the cabin yesterday. It was a good time.
What'd Scott think about that?
He was like olling and he'd be like, Scotch Pad.
Yeah, he low key loved it. He was hyped. Yeah.
Sketch Pad. One more question. We kind of bailed out of hot
that's
takes.
right.
We're going to get back in. Worst trend. What do you got?
You know, I feel like skating has it's weird. It's transitioned from like, you know, doing hard tricks to like doing really simple tricks that look cool, which I really love. You know, like I think that's really cool. Like to, you know, like whatever. But I feel like sometimes that is getting pushed a little too far. Where I'm like, you know, I'll see stuff of people that I know they're more capable of the tricks that they're doing. And I'm like, yo, you know, like you kind of need to, like, you can't get away with just manualing a curb right now. Like maybe you got to like do something more. But that said, it's like I grew up in an era where we were just trying to do the hardest tricks we possibly could over and over and over again. And like, you know, that can get looked at as like, maybe that gets a little boring and maybe whatever, but I just I see it transitioning pretty far that way. Kind of want it to swing a little bit back.
It'll all come back in cycles.
Yeah,
Snowboarding does that too.
It's like it gets a little too cruisy where you're like, what did I just watch? Did you do anything? You know what I mean?
So hard to
Totally.
become pros and
Yeah, the era of like the Tech-Nar superstar, people doing big tricks on big rails. And I personally like, it's like you said, do whatever you want. But in my opinion, hard tricks with good style will always be king.
Yeah, it'll always
That's
rule.
me. I'm not, maybe I haven't adapted to that.
Absolutely. But you know,
whatever.
How old are you?
Beep this out, Paul.
So I'm 32. It's like we kind of grew up in a similar generation. We kind of see like, sometimes I see kids coming up that are popular and the tricks that they're doing. I'm like, they're not even doing anything.
Yeah.
You know what I
Are we
mean?
watching the
Like,
same video?
They're not even trying to like really, and I'm not saying I'm doing the hardest tricks. Like I'm definitely not saying I'm pushing the bar that hard, but there are people that are.
Totally.
And they fucking put some respect on their name, you know?
Slap some respect on some raw respect. All right. Waddles?
Yeah.
Trying to get that one to stick.
That's yep.
That ship has sailed.
So Waddles, we like to do setups on this show where we talk about, for you, let's do skate setup. What are you running? Trucks, wheels, all the whole shebang?
Were you skating when wheels went all small?
Kind of. They were
Think
like,
that'll ever come back?
Maybe. I don't know.
Those are very functional, huh?
I remember Costin had like 49s one time, and he called them weekend wheels. Wow. Set them up on a Friday, take them off on a Sunday.
They're already done.
Weekend wheels.
Yeah, I remember you see some that were so small.
Super small. Vincent Alvarez still skates his wheels to like they're almost bearing covers, but my setup, I'm like skating small wheels compared to most. Like my wheel size is 51 millimeters, which is pretty small, but I was on 52s for a little bit, but like I just got lazy to try to like get them to 51. So I just get 51s and change them out more often. But you know, I get free wheels. So thanks Spitfire for doing that.
Change them out.
So I skate 51 millimeter Spitfires, Bones bearings, Thunder 148 highs, and Geo 52, which is an 825 girl board. So my like board shape is I've never done a board shape in my life. I skated this 8125 for probably close to 8 years. And after I had ankle surgery, I wanted to kind of make a board that helped with my ankle doesn't flex as well as it used to, my back ankle. So I wanted to kind of make a shape that got the tail down a little easier and a little quicker. So I actually did my first shape ever, which was this 825 Geo 52, and I made a little flat in between like the truck where it's like a little flatter before the tail kind of kicks up to just a tipping point. And yeah, I made it. I kind of made it for me, for my needs, but you know, some of the team skated it and they liked it, so we actually put it into production. So the same board that's on the wall is the same board that I skate.
That's sick.
So it's longer than your average. It's longer than your average deck.
It's actually not longer. The wheelbase is just a little shorter.
The wheelbase is shorter. Okay.
So I just tucked in the trucks a little bit just to make the flat so it tips easier. Because
more leverage.
Basically, I was ollieing and getting a little air foot, which when you ollie, air foot is like the board kind of lags before it hits your foot, which can get a little scary when you're going at some bigger things. And I wanted it to kind of feel a little more on me. So that was like, I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to make a little flat. And I tried a lot of things before that. I tried low trucks. I tried smaller wheels and like whatever. And ultimately I was like, let's just do this board shape. And yeah, and it seems like people are into it. People like it. So that's cool.
That's cool. You figured that out.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good thing to talk about too. I skated girl chocolates for freaking 12, 15. I don't even know how long, just exclusively. And it was because they're flat. Why, you know, there's a lot of people that argue they like a steep nose and tail. What's the argument for a flatter concave board?
I like flatter boards. I just feel like I can maneuver them a little better. I just feel like I can get the tail down. I can like I could kind of like my flick is a little more consistent on them. I get like steeper boards, like you have more leverage, and I get that and I understand it, but it just doesn't work for me. So, you know, it's like just anything. It's all about what preferences and what you like and what you don't like. For me, I like a flatter board, partly because I skated girl in chocolate most of my life. So it's like what I'm used to, but I know like a Shad Ware is like a flatter board guy. But like Costin, for example, loves the steep shapes. So it's like, you know, if you say like, here's a Shad Ware and Eric Costin, two of the greatest skateboarders we ever seen in our lives. One skates a flat board, one skates a steep board. It's like, it's all preference. For me, how my body works, and after ankle surgery especially, I just need something that's a little easier to get to the ground. And I don't have as much like force on my right ankle as I used to. So the flatter board just helps out with that.
Nice. Now, we didn't talk about, and we can maybe cover this kind of briefly, but you know, you had a pretty crippling ankle injury. And we get messages from listeners a lot of times that are like, hey, like I get personal messages like this, like, hey, I just got hurt. I just messed up my shoulder, my knee, my ankle. I'm going to be on the couch for a while. What, you know, do you have any advice for me? And I know you've been laid out.
Yeah.
Do you got any wise words for those people?
I had reconstructive ankle surgery like probably 6 years ago. My advice would be to like, whatever you love, like most people that message me are skaters. So for me, like I messed my ankle up. I had to get surgery. And so I treated physical therapy and actually like getting healthy, like skating. Like it was like every day I woke up and like, this is what I thought about. This is what I tried to do. And so like that repetition and getting into that, like, all right, this is what I'm focusing on. That helped a lot. One, it gives you a little purpose. You know what I mean? Like when you skate your whole life and then you can't, it's like kind of can get a little depressed. And then two, it's like you're getting healthy at a faster rate. You know what I mean? Like it's real easy to sit on the couch and drink some pub beers until, you know, it's like, because another thing is when you get hurt, like time doesn't exist. It's like you just sleep when you're tired and you're up when you're up. It does really, daylight doesn't even matter. So that is not healthy. You know what I mean? So you kind of got to get in a little bit of a routine and just treat physical therapy and treat getting healthy like you would skating and learning tricks. And that's what I try to do. Helped me out. And then it's, you just got to, you know, after that, like my ankle has never been the same since. And
I was going to ask you that. Does it still hurt?
Yeah, it still hurts. It's like once you have an injury like that, it's just becomes your life. You know what I mean? It's like, I so wish I could hop out the van after an 8-hour drive and skate the way I want to. But yeah, you know, I'm going to have to stretch for an hour and I'm going to have to like take care of myself and like figure it out. And you know what I mean? It's just a different lifestyle. Not to say that one's better than the other, like whatever, but it's just different. You know what I mean?
I hurt my ankle snowboarding, and it's just never the same, and it's just life. You got to deal with it.
There's two things: you get hurt, and then you don't get younger. Yeah. So it's like,
and then it just gets stiffer as you age.
Exactly. You know, it's like when I show up to the skate park, it's weird. I never know what I'm gonna get. It's like sometimes I show up and I'm like, oh my god, I could skate for hours and I feel great. And sometimes I'm like, I feel so good, and I get to the park and I'm like, oh my god, like my body's just not cooperating. You know what I mean?
Not today.
It's just part of it. It's like whatever. It's
There's
like
that
everybody feels
Mark
like
Johnson
that.
quote where I forget what video it is. Maybe it's Modus Operandi or something, or one of those videos. But he's like, some days you show up to skate and you just have it. Like you just have it.
Yeah.
And other days it's like nowhere to be found. Something along those lines. And I always thought that was a great quote about skating, and it's so true. Like,
for sure. It's like I mean, everybody has good days and bad days. You know what I mean?
Just chasing the dragon, if you will.
Chasing those good days.
But since we're on a snowboard podcast, I could talk about snowboarding a little bit, which is nice. My back ankle doesn't flex a lot. So snowboarding has actually been a little weird. Like my front foot gets really tired, which is interesting because like when I'm in like powder, it's kind of like it's hard for me to get back there. It almost feels like I'm manualing when I'm like actually kind of even.
Wow.
Which is weird. So like when I'm like snowboarding for a little bit, the first thing that gets tired is my front pinky like toe, like
really,
because I'm that far forward.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's affected like how, because like when you're running powder, you kind of got to be in the back seat.
You got to be on the
right?
back seat. Yeah.
Do you try like a longer powder board?
I want to mess with like setting the bindings back a little bit, and yeah,
makes
so
such a difference in the powder.
I gotta like try to figure that out, you know.
And a powder specific board where it's already in the back.
Yeah, the problem is like
tail like will really just make it work for you and make it much easier.
So like maybe Burton will host me one day at the facility and like help me out a little bit, but that's the thing. But the problem is like I don't go, like I probably go like 20 times a year, which is quite a bit, but not
quite a bit.
Not a ton though. So I would love to kind of get dialed in. Maybe I should bring like 2 boards with me every trip.
That's kind of the move. I think you want an all mountain / park board,
or if you know
and
you're
you want a
pow
deep
trip.
powder day board that like barely has any tail, and you're just the nose just wants to just sit.
Yeah,
like where the nose is up above
Makes
the snow.
it for no effort in the powder, and your pinky toe won't start to hurt.
But snowboarding has also gotten to like, when I was younger, I remember like the quote was like, your stance in your pants can never be too wide. You know what I mean? Like that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then now like everyone's kind of narrow.
Dude, people are going narrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You just got to do what feels good.
Feels right for your body.
Some people's knees want to freaking go bow-legged. Some people want straight. Some people want posy. It's just like, you just do what feels right.
I guess, yeah. I've been searching for that.
Whatever the least amount of pain is.
I feel like skateboarders are used to a closer stance, and I think it's probably more beneficial for you to have a narrower stance.
I've always wanted a closer stance, but I've also like, you know, I've like trusted and
for who's telling
like
me.
I saw the pro snowboarders. I'm like, oh, they're wide. Might as well go
they
wide.
used to
you know
be
what I mean?
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy wide.
Like there's no way that's performance enhancing. Like it is definitely hindering your
but
performance.
Then you got Shaun White with that 25.5.
Yeah, looking
inch
like
stance. That's a huge stance.
Yeah.
25.5 is big.
25.5 inches. It's giant.
Yeah, I guess that's
Especially
pretty big.
The average stance is probably 21, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. 21 and a half, 22.
What are you at?
Honestly, I'm actually not sure. I don't usually. Dude, it's
like
weird.
you.
I don't
It's
know.
more of a feel.
It's kind of a feel. I think I'm right around 22. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not.
I've ridden your board. It's right around 22.
I don't get all cross-eyed with it. Sometimes I fuck up setting my board. I'm like, whoa, that's not it. That is we're off there, and then you just adjust it.
I have a couple other snowboard questions for you guys.
Yeah, what do you got?
Hit us.
All right, what about are step-in bindings frowned upon?
We like to make fun of them, yes. Yeah. But the thing is
chief rides them.
we like to make fun of them. But I will say,
They've come a long way.
if you're like a recreational snowboarder and you just want to like do turns down groomers and you don't want to bend over and strap in, they're good. Hence, I'm still not going to stop making fun of them.
Okay.
Supposedly Burton's coming out with some new ones that are just incredible. And same, remember Rayberg was in here.
Yeah,
with some flows that looked pretty good. Supposedly they're good.
I'm not sold on any of that
But
stuff.
Sometimes I get the political answer from the Burton guys. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh no, they're great."
Burton's
but like I
trying to
look
put
at their eyes and I'm like,
you see one guy on the pro team wearing this? No, nobody.
So
does.
I'm
with age, they're going to be a good thing. As you get older, you don't want to deal with it. It's fast, you know.
For sure. And like, look, I'm the type of guy that I look at the pros and like I want to do what they do. You know what I mean? Like,
riding them.
I look at Tiger Woods, like I do what Tiger Woods does. I'm
Yeah.
like, whatever. I'm never gonna be as good as Tiger Woods. I get it, but like whatever he does, I want to do. And so like I look at pro snowboarders and I'm like, whatever they do, I want to do. You know what I mean? I don't see any.
Yeah.
of
How
them.
many at Peace Park had step-ins?
None of them.
0.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing is, what about BOA boots? Those are cool.
Yeah, boas are great.
Hybrid.
All right.
You can get a hybrid that laces like normal, but it pulls your ankles in, and those are super dope.
Those are good.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a combo of laces and boa.
They've come a long way. I mean, everybody's got their opinion about it, but I've ridden some boa boots that I think are good if you mix them with laces. Like, yeah, inner bladder boa, outer liner is lace, but I've had a great experience with BOA. But I know that there's people that'll tell you don't touch it with a 10-foot pole, but that's not me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're dope.
All right, cool. You know what I mean? Like I go to like Winter Dew Tour, you know, and like I'm like around all these pro snowboarders and like that I respect, and like I'm like looking at my setup like I wonder if this is okay.
That's dope.
You want your shit to look right?
I'm looking at I'm like, am I getting made fun of right now? I have no idea.
It is though. It is when you know your setup's looking right. You want it to look right. Whether it's a skateboard,
yeah, exactly. I mean, these are the pros. These are my favorite snowboarders. Like,
you don't want to be self-conscious. It'll make you ride bad.
I don't want to be like, hey, Danny, let's like hang out. And he looks at my setup and he's like,
not with those boots.
God. You know,
what outerwear are you rocking?
Did I see him out there with the Supreme kit going?
Yeah, so I got the Supreme North Face kit. But I like
some tie-dye on that, maybe.
Yeah,
dope kit.
But you know what? I'm honestly just like I'm in such a gear crisis right now.
You got a kit crisis.
I gotta figure it out. I can't figure it out. I don't know which route I want to go because like I love Raibu and I like love his style and like baggy pants, whatever. But like I'm not like a baggy pant guy. You know what I mean?
On a snowboard though, it's you can mix it up. You can go tight streetwear, baggy on the board. That works just fine.
Yeah. Basically, let's see. I have the snowboard, or I have the Supreme North Face kit. I have some older Nike stuff that is like okay, but Nike doesn't make outerwear anymore, right?
I don't think so.
No. So I was, blessed with Nike for a little bit, but now I'm kind of like trying to figure it out. I don't know.
That's kind of hitters though. Still, if you still got some crispy Nike stuff, I'll tell you this though. There's probably people that work at all the snowboard brands that listen to this show, and any of them would be happy to send you whatever you want.
Sure.
So. I would love a kit. I'm trying to figure out what about our bibs like a
dude. Bibs are dope.
Yeah,
tough in the spring, but dope.
Yeah.
You want to open those vents in the spring. You know, you want to talk about like really dope Steve that used to come back. Is like Trevor Andrew used to run bibs, but then he'd wear a belt and then drop them down.
Mark Frank too.
So they're kind of dangling, and that's like if you want to kind of show up and just fuck the game up, like run
Instant
some
respect.
bibs down, slap some raw spec on that kit. Get you nice. I mean, the Supreme jacket's probably a hitter. You should probably keep running that thing.
Yeah, Supreme is pretty dope.
What kind of boots you running?
So I have Burton boots.
They make good boots.
Yeah, and they hooked me up with that, so it's amazing. But it's like one of those things where like, you know what I mean? Like I kind of want them to feel like skate shoes. So I like want thin, like nice boots that like actually like move, but also it's like cold out there.
It's cold.
Also, you got to be careful of your ankles, dude.
Yeah.
When
I
you run
know.
soft boots, you fuck your ankles up.
That's the thing. So like sometimes I get these soft boots and I'm like, I love them, but it's like not good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I have some good Burton boots. My whole setup's pretty much Burton bindings. I have that custom board, but Danny said he's going to send me his pro model. So hopefully, that'll change my front foot stance a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you got to show up next year with a new kit anyways for gear. You can't be rocking the same kit.
No. I gotta redo my whole thing.
Got to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's just change gears here real quick because Dew Tour's coming up right around the corner. You guys just did a little unlock the spot, or unlock the spot's about to happen. I'm not sure where we're at with that. Right?
It's about to happen.
Okay.
So the skate team, Theotis, Cookie, Mariah Duran, myself. So we're Mountain Dew is going to come to all of our hometowns, and basically the spot that is not able to be skated, that's a big bust, they're going to permit it out so we can skate it and then invite people to skate it, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Because there's always that one spot in the hometown where you're like, I wish we could just get some time there. So yeah, we're about to launch that. We're still waiting to see what spots we can be permitted and not.
What are the cities?
It's so Theotis is Englewood, California. Cookie's Burlington, Vermont. Mariah is Albuquerque, and I'm Kansas City. So
that's gonna be sick.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little tour to try to unlock spots. And kind of like it's for us too, and also the community. So like let the kids skate the spot. That's
So like a 24 stair neck high.
Exactly. Yeah. Here we go. It's unlocked. Let's see what you got.
Spots unlocked. Go.
But it's all leading up to Dew Tour in Des Moines, Iowa, in July. And then we're going to do the contest there, which will be a 2-day event. It'll be really fun. And then we're going to unlock the spot in Des Moines, Iowa as like the big kind of last hurrah of the whole thing. So it'll be cool. It'll be like a little tour leading up to Dew Tour.
That's sick.
Solid. I like that. And that's a good concept there and good stuff.
Cool
it's always cool.
Get to skate.
Dude's doing good stuff for the skate community.
I mean, it's funny. Mountain Dew hit me up. They're like, "Hey, we have this project. Like, we're doing Unlock the Spot. Like, do you have any spots?" And I'm like, "I'll send you a list of 10 spots right now that like I wish I could skate." You know what I mean? It's like every city has those. So it's a cool concept. It's great. Hopefully I could get Danny and Red out to some of those. See them skate a little bit.
See what's up.
Yeah.
You know what you guys should do when you're done is like Skater 3, what's it called? The skate video game? EA Skate 3, spot owned afterwards. You spot owned.
Spot owned.
Yeah,
all right. Yeah.
And that's what you do when you kind of, I don't know if you guys remember that video game.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Are you in that?
Skate 3? No, I've never made it in a skate. I made it in a Tony Hawk Pro Skate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was in 4.
Respect.
Which was tight.
That's pretty sweet. You got a video game character.
Yeah, it was
good.
cool. It was weird. Like I had to go in the studio and do skate noises, which is really weird. When you're
skate noises.
Ugh. Like you're like it was so awkward. I was like, oh man,
that's amazing. Well, dude, you had that part come out in Nike. Was it Constant recently?
Yeah,
a year ago. That was all you and what's his name? The
Carlos Ribeiro.
Yeah, the Brazilian.
Yeah, so
awesome.
Carlos is a really good friend of mine, amazing skater, and like it kind of it was weird. Like I was just supposed to have a few tricks in it, like whatever, and I was just skating with Carlos, and we were in such a good rhythm that Aunt Travis, the filmer, was like, "Hey, you know," he pushed for me, like, "I think these guys can like share a part and like whatever." So it was really cool for Carlos to allow me to like share a part with him, 1, and then 2, like to have the opportunity to be able to film for a Nike video like that. So I was really grateful to be able to do that and to film that half part with Carlos. And now I am tomorrow leaving to Sweden to start the next Nike video project. So we're filming a new video. I'm really excited about that. Just to be in the streets and skate and hang out.
Sweden's dope too. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, doing Sweden, Copenhagen, and Greece.
What city in Sweden?
Sweden going to Malmo.
Malmo.
So Malmo's close to Copenhagen, and then Copenhagen Pro, that contest is happening out there. So just Sweden for a week and then head over to Copenhagen.
You win that back in the day?
I got second.
Second. Okay,
yeah,
good.
It was close.
Well, we'll be looking for that back over crook nollie backside flip.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just try to do it there. It'll be like get a heli out there to film it.
Yeah, exactly. And also we'll be
4
looking
hours
for
long.
We're going to be looking for the bomb drop to Caveman to down rail as well for the helicopter.
Yeah, I got one more Patreon question.
Yeah.
It's a good one. From Liddy. How do you stay so young looking? What's the magic ingredient?
Asian.
That's what's up, huh?
Just gotta be Asian. That's it.
Except when you're like 80, you look super old though.
Exactly. I think it goes all the way up and then it just flops over to the other side. Yeah.
Holy shit! What happened?
Exactly. Yeah, Asian and short hair. Every time I cut my hair, I swear it like takes 10 years off my look. So I have kind of long hair right now.
You think about bringing back the bowl, maybe?
Yeah,
maybe, yeah.
Got a bowl in the back.
I know.
We could do that.
Yeah, we do have a couple of like pasta bowls we could probably.
Yeah. You got it? Yeah.
We got some scissors.
We could have done it on show right now, right? Actually,
good look for Sweden.
I'm in this zone right now where I look down, I look at my feet placement, I'm like, cool, riding up to a spot, and when I look up, my hair is just blinding me.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's an issue.
I have to skate. I have to wear a hat right now. It just sucks. My hair is in that zone where a little longer, it'll like kind of stay out of my way, but right now it's just perfectly in my
right in the eyes.
Thing's begging for a bowl is what it sounds like to me.
Begging for a bowl.
Thing's begging for a bowl.
Bomb hole bowl cut.
Bomb hole bowl cut.
Yeah.
The bomb bowl cut.
Bomb bowl cut.
Bomb bowl cut.
Signature bomb bowl cut.
That's some reggae
I mean,
stuff
maybe
right
I just
there.
need one of those
Bumble
bucket
pot.
hats and I'll be fine.
Yeah, for the people that are listening, they can't see because a lot of our people don't tune in on YouTube. They listen on podcasts. Stony Buds has a dyed purple beard.
That's what's up.
With bleach and a purple bucket hat that's actually folded over more like a bonnet.
With my headphones.
More like a Little House on the Prairie bonnet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, available at bombhole.com now. Maybe
We're
sold
selling
out.
bonnets?
Yeah, bombhole bonnet / bucket hat, depending on it's a choose your own adventure situation.
If you're going to wear big headphones.
If you're going to wear big headphones, it becomes a bonnet. So, all right. Well, Sean, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate having you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
I'm always excited to kind of talk about snowboarding too. It's like a passion of mine. I don't really get to like talk about that
That's
often.
dope.
Yeah.
That's so sick. Before we wrap this thing up, do you want to throw out any thank yous?
Oh, I mean, thanks to you guys. Yeah, thanks for having me. Obviously, Mountain Dew for bringing me out here and making this happen. And honestly, fan of the show. So thank you so much for having me. And yeah, can't wait to hear next episodes coming up.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Malto. And people can find you on Instagram. Was that and where can they find you in the social shmee?
Just at Sean Malto. I have a TikTok, but I don't even know what it is. To be honest with you.
You don't know your TikTok?
Someone took my name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's like Sean Malto, like
13,
like something like that. Yeah, I forget. I haven't really posted a TikTok yet. I'm not a big TikToker, but yeah, just at Sean Malto on Instagram, and then you can obviously see me at Dew Tour coming up in July.
Dope.
Killer. Well, I want to say thank you for coming on the show. I want to say thank you to all of our sponsors. You guys are awesome. I want to say thank you to all of our Patreon members, and thank you to everybody that tunes in, listens, watches, buys merch. You guys rule. We got another podcast coming at you next Wednesday. Over and out from the Bomb Hole.
Don't forget to run through a wall.
That's right.